you and those around you. Please keep a close watch during the course of the game and remember to cheer on your Dragons. Fans, we also ask that you remain respectful throughout the course of tonight's game. Racial or sexist slurs shown towards any player, coach, umpire, park staff members, or other fans will not be tolerated and will result in your immediate removal from the ballpark. We appreciate your cooperation with these policies, and we hope you enjoy tonight's ball game.
So today, we're doing this
Somebody's going to pick up the tonight. Welcome to the Outlaws. The Outlaws coming off a tough home opening loss down on Friday night. And then, of course, they had two offers this weekend. They gathered themselves, and they know, man, this team has to burn force the turn. 10 new guys coming into the course of Friday. Saturday, Sunday. This Outlaw squad, so they are loaded up and ready to go with a bunch of new guys, including some that are going to be in the lineup for Keaton Mark squad tonight. But first, we got to talk about it. Got 11-0 loss for Oneonta on Friday night. The team only mustered 3 wins in total to play. Brendan Conley, the big story tonight for this squad. They mustered 2 different hits, both of them singles at the top of the lineup. It's going to be down to the 2 spot. This is the lineup here for this Oneonta Outlaws squad here in just a moment. But J.G. Ross is flip-flopping at the top of the Outlaws over J.G. Ross. Sure, he didn't hit the other night. They threw a walk, had a strikeout. He was definitely working that now. So it's nice to have a guy like that who comes from the University of South Florida with this Outlaw squad. Gets some good reps up there at the top of the lineup here as they travel on the road to take on this Glens Falls team for the first time here in 2024. Glens Falls has started no better than your Outlaws. 0-3 to start the season. They go to the defending champion Amsterdam March 12-4 on Friday night, and then they turned around and played a doubleheader on Saturday against the Albany Baseball Club. They were shut out in game 1 and then fell in game 2, 9-4. Both of those games lasted about 2 hours for this team to be able to whip right through 14 innings of baseball the other day, and then they, of course, had an off day yesterday as well. And this team is continuing to see guys play here in Eastfield this weekend as well. This is their 4th consecutive home game to start this season with Albany. They played both of those games here in Eastfield. Albany was the home team in game 1, and they decided to Glens Falls took the home side of things in game 2. The Outlaws will be the benefactors with some good scheduling matters this week later as well. We posted it on our social media yesterday, almost 2 days ago, but yesterday, the schedule for the week is supposed to go to Albany on Thursday, moved to Albany on Saturday, but now with the weather and some circumstances on the Albany side of things, we're going to play a doubleheader at the Mass on Saturday now. We'll be announcing that on our social media throughout the rest of the week as well, but the Outlaws have big league coming up at home to play Tuesday, Wednesday, and a doubleheader Saturday at home, but that Thursday off day now is certainly going to help break up the week. If we talked about it with Brody Raleigh, who comes back to the Outlaws for a second consecutive season, playing 6-6, certainly wouldn't have been ideal for this team here this early on in the season, but now without further ado, we're going to cut to a player interview. Speaking of it,
back here on our pregame show. Our next pregame interview is going to be Western Carolina's Brody Raleigh. Brody, you guys coming in tonight after that home opener loss on Friday. Can you just kind of talk about what you saw out there and what you guys worked on this weekend? Well, and obviously you guys have only had a few days to really get to know each other, kind of gel here. What's it been like just trying to get to know all your new teammates and adjust to being back here in Oneonta?
Yeah, coming into summer ball is fun. You don't know any of the guys, but practicing with a few times, living with some of the guys.
Well, and obviously it's an adjustment in terms of college, coming here and playing summer ball. What's it like just getting used to, a new setup and new teammates, obviously? Well, and you're one of 10 returners on this team from last year. What was it like here last year? What made you decide you wanted to come back? Well, and obviously playing down there at Western Carolina, a lot different coming here to Oneonta. What do you love specifically about the city and area here? And we already kind of touched on it, but you guys had that tough home opener loss on Friday, and now, of course, after having those 2 off days, you get into a stretch here where you're playing 6 games in a row, then get an off day, and then play 6 more. What's it like just in terms of the different schedule this year as opposed to last year? And speaking of dusting off the cobwebs, obviously the fielding, you know, you guys had a couple of errors in the field and just a couple of hits at the plate. What are just some of those things you guys really need to touch up on and get ready here for this week? Well, and specifically looking into tonight, you guys have the Glens Dragons coming up here. Talk me kind of through what you saw from Glens last year and what you're looking for out of this game, considering they have a lot of returners from last year. And Brody, last question here before I let you get back to it. Glens Falls coming up here tonight, then you guys have a couple of home games coming up this week. What's it like just playing in front of the Oneonta crowd here, and what's the difference like for you in terms of home and road games?
Yeah, we got a pretty good crowd. We got a lot of passionate fans here, so it's fun playing in front of Outlaw fans. And on the road, you know, it's usually a little tougher because you got guys tripping against you instead of for you.
Brody, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight.
Appreciate it.
Back to Eastfield as we continue on with our pregame show, getting ready for the Outlaws and the Dragons. Again, my name is Colby Smith and want to give a huge shout out to Brody Raleigh there for joining me for our second pregame interview of the season. And I do apologize about the little issue there. Had a little problem getting set up here in Glens Falls tonight, so the external's not getting muted right away. And so again, I do apologize, but that interview also available. You can go on and catch it on our Instagram and Facebook as it was uploaded there. And all our interviews going to be uploaded here on our YouTube as well as we roll throughout the season. But the Outlaws and Dragons met up 8 times a year ago. They split the season series, and one thing that certainly might be in the Dragons' favor tonight on their side of things, the home team won 6 of 8 games in the season set between the Outlaws and the Dragons last year. The Dragons put up 46 in 8 games against Oneonta, and the Outlaws put up 48, but 17 of those for Oneonta did come in one game, which was the second of the year down at the Outlaws' place. So almost a year ago to the day was the last time that the Outlaws and Dragons started their season set against each other as Oneonta 8-5. They lost here back on June 4th, and then of course they played 8 more times throughout the summer. And man, the season schedule this summer between these two teams kind of spread out, all things considered, as after tonight, not going to meet up again until Wednesday, June 19th. It'll be a 7 o'clock game down at Oneonta before Thursday the 27th, the Outlaws come back here to Glens Falls. So 3 of the 8 meetings, just 3 of the 8 in the month of June between these two squads before they'll play 5 times over the course of the month of July. Outlaws will be here at Glens Falls July 6th. Then the next one going to be at Oneonta on July 10th at 7 o'clock. And, yeah, you can talk about scheduling here at this point already. We were talking about the benefactor of not having a game on Thursday this week. In the first 12 days of July, the Outlaws will play just one road game, and that's that game here at Glens Falls on July 6th. But that's besides the point now. July 19th at Glens Falls. For July 24th, going to be back at Oneonta at 7 o'clock. And then, of course, July 27th will be the Outlaws' final trip here to Glens Falls. They'll play the final home game on Friday, July 26th against Mohawk Valley. We'll be here at Glens Falls on the 27th, go to Watertown on the 28th, and that'll conclude the 46-game schedule here for the Outlaws in the PGCBL summer schedule. Outlaws tomorrow are going to host Watertown at 7 o'clock, and they'll host Boonville Wednesday at 7 o'clock. But now, without no further ado, we got to get right into it as we're approaching first pitch time here at Eastfield. Let's take a look at tonight's Oneonta Outlaws starting lineup. Leading off the right fielder, Jaden Ross. Hitting second, going to be Brendan Connolly, the shortstop, as those two stay at the top of the order but switch positions from where they were in Keaton Mark and Josiah Aska's lineup on Friday. Ethan Glossa, the designated hitter, a new guy to roll into town, going to hit third. Jacoby Dale, the center fielder, in the cleanup hole. Connor Wading plays first, and
hits fifth. Matt Carrera, the extra hitter, going to be sixth, and he's a guy you'll hear from Keaton Mark here momentarily. Really excited about to have in the lineup as he's looked good in practice here these last couple of days. Brody Raleigh, the left fielder, who you just heard from moments ago, going to hit seventh. Darian Dangler makes his Oneonta Outlaws debut, hitting eighth. Ryan King, the second baseman, will be ninth, and Jack Bateman, the third baseman from Holy Cross, could be in the 10th spot. Jordan Goebel will get the start on the hill for Mark and Aska tonight. And so, speaking of it, let's cut to our pregame interview with Mr. Keaton Mark as we approach first pitch time here in Glens Falls at East Field. Another Outlaws coaches interview, this time with Outlaws head coach Keaton Mark. Keaton, obviously you guys come in tonight here at Glens Falls following that tough home opener loss on Friday. Can you just kind of talk me through a little bit about what you saw out there and things that you guys talked about after Friday?
Yeah, definitely just going off of what Coach Aska said. Just got to limit the strikeouts, got to throw strikes. We don't have all our guys yet, so we have about 10 guys coming this week, so I'll be excited to see some more talent coming in and whatnot. But, yeah, we're ready to go for sure.
Well, and specifically on Friday, I wanted to talk a little bit about the fielding. You guys committed a couple errors out there in the field, and even speaking of strikes, obviously struggled to get some hits at the plate. What were just some of those takeaways that you had out of Friday that you're looking to clean up moving forward?
After talking to a lot of guys, it was tough for them because a lot of these guys haven't seen live pitching in 2 weeks, so definitely just shaking some rust off of the plate I think we'll be fine. In the field, yeah, we definitely got to limit errors. Just a lot of guys getting used to playing with each other and just a new group of guys coming together as a whole.
Well, and talking about adjusting to playing together, how do you feel like these guys have gelled and started to come together here after seeing them together for the last week or so?
I think definitely after these first few practices here, guys are starting to get along a lot better, getting used to living with each other, and overall just gelling as a whole. It's going a lot better than it was at the beginning.
Well, and talking about your own past experiences, you had the experience of playing here with the Outlaws, you had the experience of summer collegiate ball. What do you just feel like the true adjustment is from transitioning to a collegiate season into summer ball?
The true adjustment overall is it's a highly talented league. So, some of these guys are used to velo, but definitely getting used to velo overall. Some of the teams who play get a lot of Power 5 guys, and just overall, just the talent is a lot greater than of what some of these guys come from, and just adjusting the fastball velo.
Well, and how do you feel like this group that you have here so far has adjusted? Yeah, you've only played one game, but just adjusted to the circumstances and gotten used to things here.
I think after, that loss on Friday night, just overall anxiety, nervousness, hopefully we got that out of the way so now we can just play free.
Well, and a couple of guys I wanted to specifically highlight the other night. You had Brendan Connolly there at the top of the lineup, 2 hits, and then Cullen Condon came out of the bullpen, looked really good for 3 2/3. What were just some of the performances that you kind of looked at and liked that you saw there on Friday?
Yeah, those 2 guys for sure. It was great to see Brendan just getting on base at the leadoff. He's going to be good for us for sure. It was awesome. Cullen was electric, so going forward, he'll probably rack up some starts for us. It was good to see him out of the pen and just come out and dominate like that.
Well, and since Friday night, you've had a couple more guys roll into town here this weekend. What's it like just kind of getting new guys in as the start of the season rolls on and having them just kind of transition into the locker room here?
It's definitely overall just a roller coaster when you got to manage some guys just coming in late and stuff like that. But the guys that just came in, we're looking forward to Matt Carrera. He looks really good, the last Hudson guy coming in for us. We've got our Herkimer squad coming in here, and now that we have our Marist and LIU guys coming in, we're looking to add them in the lineup and get them in the rotation for sure.
Well, and looking at this week, you guys obviously at Glens Falls tonight, turn around and play 2 home games, got a couple more road games later this week, but in total 6 straight games coming up. What's that like in terms of just keeping everybody fresh and trying to find a rotation here with so many games in such a short time?
It's definitely just getting everybody their first time out there, and then we can go from there. And also just the hardest part about that is just managing pitching and pitch counts and making sure we got guys fresh to go, communicating, making sure we're not throwing bullpens when we shouldn't be and stuff like that.
Well, and Keaton, last question here before I let you go. Obviously, as I said already, you played in this league a couple years ago, and you've coached at Glens Falls too. What are you just telling the boys to expect here at Eastfield tonight?
Pretty much the same. Just go out and play. Field conditions should be about the same. It's a dirt field, and just stay through the ball. Other than that, just nothing much. Just play free, play easy, and let's go have some fun.
Keaton, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you, Goldie.
So you heard it there first from head coach Keaton Mark. He thinks that this team's best days are in front of them as the Outlaws move into this busy week they have coming up, starting tonight here in Glens Falls, as we're already a bit late getting started with this one, scheduled 7 o'clock first pitch, but they're having a little issue getting the little leaguers that they have here to run out with the team for introductions and such all organized and ready as Just seems like tonight's not exactly been Glens Falls night with those sorts of things, but still early on in the season, everybody's getting things together. Is this just home game 4 for the Dragons and home date 3 as they played that doubleheader on Saturday? One thing that I had to take note of with the Glens Falls Dragons in terms of getting ready for tonight, and that we talked a little bit about at practice yesterday, this team, 11 hits combined amongst their first 3 games, so the bat's a little bit slow for the Dragons to get going, and it's not like they don't have some powerhouses represented in their roster. They got a couple of guys who went to St. Rose that ended up just closing, so they have a few guys in the transfer portal, but some of their guys that you'll see in the starting lineup tonight, Iona represented, Trinity, Maryville. You got the U of Toledo, Dominican, and their starter actually just transferred into the U of Toledo. Mr. Jacob Scarless going to get the nod on the hill for the Glens Falls Dragon to get things going tonight. 6'1", 180 righty. Started his collegiate career at Catholic University down in Washington, D.C., but he got just 1 appearance for the team that finished 32-27 this season. It was back on April 9th against Arcadia as he gave up 3 hits, 4 runs, all of those earned with a walk and no strikeouts in the team's 21-5 win. I know that certainly wasn't the ideal start to his collegiate career that Scarless wanted, so he's going to go to the U of Toledo and hang out with some of his new Dragons teammates and hopefully get his collegiate days going the way he wants to, the right direction. The Outlaws tonight going to be in their orange tops with the black Outlaws and black numbers, going to wear gray pants as they're in the dugout on the third base sign here. If you're watching along with us on YouTube, Glens Falls Dragons take up the home dugout here at East Field as they're going to be in their home white tops with the red. And when we get going here with introductions, we will turn it on over to in-house PA, but we had looked already at the Outlaw starting lineup, so why don't we run through Glens Falls' side of things. Center fielder Cody Meyer going to hit leadoff. Cato Kleinman, the designated hitter, will be in the 2 spot. James Ward, the right fielder, hits 3rd. Jack Griffin, the sophomore, who was one of those aforementioned guys going to St. Rose, plays 3rd and hits 4th. Trey Marino, first baseman, sophomore from the University of Toledo, in the 5 spot. Zoen Collins, the extra hitter, hits 6th. Stephen Catch, the left fielder, 7th. Jordan Marowitz, the catcher, 8th. Andrew Gabriel, the second baseman, hits 9th. And Christian Moti, the shortstop, going to be in the 10th spot for the first-year head coach, Ryan Dial. A whole new coaching staff here in Glens Falls this year, as their coaching staff for the last 2 seasons not brought back after the team finished just 14-26 in 2023, which was 21.5 back of first place, Amsterdam. They won just 3 of their last 13 games last season. Do have a couple of returning players on this squad. Is East Field certainly a sought-after commodity for players in the summer to come up here and play for this Dragons team. There's a lot of seating here, including some new bot seats behind home plate, as they've done quite a nice renovation to this place in the offseason. None of the seats in the outfield taken up as everybody's kind of crowded in here behind home plate and on the first and third base sides tonight. Decent crowd for a Monday night 7 o'clock game as they're still taking their time getting everything ready, and it seems like the Dragons getting anxious to get in the field as they got a few of their guys out throwing a baseball, hoping they can get out here and get rolling for this first inning. This Dragons team, just 8 combined runs in 3 games, and those 11 hits we talked about already. This team hasn't had anybody that's really stuck out to this point. They have 7 guys who all have a single RBI. Nobody on this team has more than 2 hits to this point combined between the 3 games. So the bats really got to get going, and that's one thing you heard from Keaton Mark about. These Outlaws bats really got to get going. They know what it takes. They played baseball their whole entire lives, but he talked about that adjustment where a lot of these guys haven't seen live pitching for 2 weeks, maybe even a little bit more since their collegiate seasons ended. So they come here, got to shake that rust off over the first few days, and it's really important to get those guys out here getting the reps early and often in the season so they can kind of get back comfortable, play loose, play free. That's one thing that he really stresses. Keaton, I got to give it to him. He's a heck of a guy to work with. It's been so fun already to work with him here, and we've only played just 1 game. Can't wait to see what the rest of the summer has in store. But Keaton Mark, for those potential summer collegiate ball players that are looking for a destination, if you want a great dude as your head coach, come to Oneonta, because you're not going to find better than Keaton Mark. Great all-around person, great human being, loves the game of baseball, and he'll coach you up the right way and send you on back to your collegiate team in better shape than when you came to Oneonta for the summer. No better destination than being an Outlaw. You're close to Cooperstown. You have some great job opportunities for the summer, and you can just enjoy the thing enjoy the things you love most right in the confines of Oneonta, New York. Jordan Goebel out there for the Outlaws trying to stay loose. He threw his bullpen down in the corner here as the bullpen's made up in both the left field and right field here at East Field. Keep wanting to call it East Park. I knew I would probably slip up and do it at least once tonight, so forgive me if I do, but the bullpen's down in the corners here at East Field, left field and right field. A lot of ground on both the first and third base side in foul territory, so left and right fielders certainly going to have to pinch over and play the lines here at East Field tonight, as there'll probably be a lot of foul balls here. Seemed like in watching tape back on the Dragons from their games over the weekend, their outfielders like to play close to the line to begin with. Pretty deep park here, as it's 375 to center, so not exactly Damaski Field type dimensions, but certainly pretty deep, and it's an all dirt infield, so similar field conditions to what these guys have become used to playing at in Damaski. Is now Keaton Mark out there having a conversation with his starter in Jordan Goebel. Goebel is a returner for Keaton Mark, one of 10 to come back from 2023, 5'7", 150, righty from Oneonta, class of 2022 from Oneonta High School. Just finished his sophomore season at Herkimer. And he certainly last year didn't get off to the best start that he wanted for his collegiate career, had an inflated ERA, didn't get too many innings, but we'll save his numbers for when he finally takes the hill in the bottom of the first inning. But he's definitely poised and ready to go to get out here as he's working on all his arm angles down there on the third base side. It was one thing that Goebel and I talked about after practice yesterday was how he can throw from just about every arm slot possible. As the Little Leaguers still filing out here into the East Field corner as we're getting ready for first pitch here in Glens Falls. Again, a scheduled 7 o'clock start, but we're already running about 10 minutes late, and we still got to go through introductions and, of course, the national anthem, because how can we play our great game without saluting America first? Outlaws, once again, this game 2 of the season. They'll be back-to-back games at home coming up Tuesday, Wednesday. They'll have the Watertown Rapids tomorrow, who are now 2-1 after they outlasted the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs 7-6 in 10 innings yesterday. And the Boonville Lumberjacks yet to pick up a win. They've certainly struggled a little bit to start the year, had a couple of home games that they lost, most notably to Saugerties on Saturday night by a 20-3 final score. Stallions were up 10-3 after 7, so they weren't able to mercy the Lumberjacks like they did to the Outlaws on Friday night, but then turned around and scored 10 more over the course of the last 2 innings, took the 20-3 victory, and that was that. So the Stallions remain undefeated, as we were talking about it on the bus ride up. Myself, Keaton Mark, Josiah Aska, and a couple of the returners on the Outlaws, but the Saugerties team definitely looks like they are going to have a good summer. They outlived the Mohawks last night, 5-4, walking them off in the bottom of the 9th inning, so the Stallions remain undefeated. They have their first off day tonight, as there's just 4 games in total around the PGCBL tonight, and one of them, Jamestown, playing Salamanca, so it's not even a league game. So just 3 games that are going to affect the PGCBL lead standings tonight. And as we go throughout our broadcast, as we always love to do, we'll take a couple of looks at the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard in the odd innings. So we'll get to that coming up here as we move forward throughout the game. Oneonta 0-1 entering this game on the road here against Glens Falls, and the Dragons going to be 0-3. This Dragons team, a lot different makeup than a year ago, with colleges near and far. Got a couple of guys coming from as far as California to play summer ball here in Glens Falls this year, which a lot of guys don't usually come from that distance. Usually you get guys that are kind of up and down the East Coast, maybe from the Midwest, but California is certainly a rarity to see here in the PGCBL, and Glens Falls has a couple of those on their roster. As now finally we're going to get introductions and get things rolling here in East Field, so we'll keep our mic live here for you as we turn it on over to In-House PA as we approach first pitch here between the Outlaws and the Dragons on Outlaws YouTube. Don't go anywhere. We finally got the starting lineup and the anthem and the blitz here from Eastfield and Glens Falls. Once again, welcome in to our YouTube channel. My name is Colby Smith. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe today because all Oneonta Outlaws broadcasts, home and road, will be available here starting 15 minutes before every first pitch as we continue on throughout our 2024 season. The Outlaws come into tonight, as we mentioned already a couple of times, 0-1, and the Glens Falls Dragons 0-3. The Dragons have now taken to the field and are getting out there with their warm-ups, getting ready to get things started. Jacob Scarless going to be the starting pitcher for the Dragons, 6'1", 180 right fielder. Told he works from the stretch quite a bit, has a nice four-pitch mitt, so we'll see that as we get started here at Eastfield tonight. Freshman who just transferred to the U of Toledo, so it'll actually be a sophomore year coming up. He's from nearby East Greenbush, so a pretty local product, and handful of those on this Dragons roster. Quite a few from Queensbury nearby as well, as this roster took on quite the local front for the first-year coaching staff of Glens Falls. Oneonta, seems like all so long ago, we took a look at the starting lineup, so if you're just dropping by to join us, we'll run through it one more time. Jaden Ross, the right fielder, going to lead off for Keaton Mark and Josiah Aska. Brendan Connolly, the shortstop, hits second. Ethan Glossa from Herkimer. All those Herkimer guys now in the Outlaw locker room, so it'll be nice to see them start to get in here and get some work, including tonight's starting pitcher and Jordan Global. Jacoby Dale, the center fielder, hits fourth. Connor Wading, the first baseman, fifth. Matt Carrera, the extra hitter, sixth. Brody Raleigh, the left fielder, seventh. Darren Dangler from South Courtright going to make his first start as an Oneonta Outlaw, hitting eighth. And, man, his high school numbers absolutely electric. Got those from him on the bus. His whole career at South Courtright, played 5 years of varsity ball for the Rams. And so I'm sure we probably got some Dangler fans watching tonight. And so a big shout-out to Darren and all the Danglers watching here on our Outlaws YouTube page. Ryan King, the second baseman, going to hit ninth. And Jack Bateman from Holy Cross going to play third for the Outlaws. And I'm sure you might have seen it on our social media. Bateman's third inning double play that he turned on Friday night against Socrates, where he laid the tag on a lead runner and then fired the ball over to first to turn it 5-3 to get Mario Travella, was our play of the game from Friday night. And we'll see what kind of play of the game candidates we have on display here at Eastfield tonight as we finally get ready to get this first inning started here between the Outlaws and the Dragons. East Division rivals who are going to play 8 times this summer tonight. Meeting number one is Jaden Ross going to walk to the plate here for the Outlaws to get things started. Ross, who swings from the right side, played in just 3 games at the University of South Florida this year, and now making his second consecutive start here for the Outlaws as Scarless set from the stretch. Going to kick and fire the first pitch of the ball game home, and it's a called strike as the count will be 0-1 here on Mr. Jaden Ross. 400 average in that small sample size, 3 games down there at the U of SF. 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout the other night as he takes one in tight at the hands. The count will be 1-1. Ross wears number 12 for this Outlaw roster. Swings from the right side here against Scarless as the shadow starting to creep in over home plate. The 1-1 pitch from Scarless. Not going to offer it that one as the count will be 2-1. Looked like a nice pitch there, trying to give Ross something to hit. But Ross holds up. So now Scarless with the 2-1 pitch. Outside. Is they're actually going to mark it here as a strike, and so the count will be 2-2. Ross, a very patient hitter at the plate. Big disciplined guy as he watches the 2-2 roll by at the feet, and the count's going to be full. Brendan Connolly on deck, taking some big practice heads, following up Ross in the top of the order here for the Oneonta Outlaws. The payoff pitch from Scarless. In tight, and Ross going to be the first base runner to reach tonight here for Oneonta. So Ross draws the 6-pitch walk. And now it'll be Brendan Connolly to come to the plate for the Outlaws. Connolly's a lefty batter. One thing that really gave Socrates fits the other night, had a hard time with that mitts in the Outlaw order of righties and lefties. Connolly, all the shadows down the right field line as he watches this one come in at the feet for ball 1. This Outlaws team, you can see it already, it might only be game 2, but it isn't going to be a big swing and miss squad this year. Very patient approach amongst all their guys, 1-10, as Connolly right back to the screen, and the count's 1-1. 32 games played for him this year, a .337 average, no homers, 23 RBIs with 6 walks and 15 strikeouts, usually at the top of the order. As the 1-1 from Scarlett, drilled out towards center, going to fall in on the one hop, and Connolly has given the Outlaws a second straight base runner. We're actually going to be told that Jaden Ross was put out down there at first base, so Connolly is just the first base runner to reach here for the Outlaws. Little dance from Connolly off first as Glossa going to foul this one back. He's in the 3 spot, so Jaden Ross down here for the Outlaws at the top of the lineup. 3-2 pitch and thought he had sold it, but they actually sent him back to the dugout, so my apologies on that one. So just a single runner on base here. And Brendan Connolly at first. We're at the 3 spot in the order, 1 out here in the top of the first. As this one smoked out to the gap in right center field. Glossa going to take a big turnaround first. Connolly chugging past second. He's going to get to third, and the Outlaws are going to have runners at the corners here in the top of the first. Bat-to-bat singles. Glossa playing hit them where they ain't baseball. And so it'll be first and third with 1 out as Jacoby Dale steps to the plate. Dale just finished his redshirt senior year at Wayne State, went 0 for 3 in the Outlaws opener. 5 of 10 guys in this Outlaw order tonight did play on Friday night in some fashion, as Dale going to take straight 1 right down Broadway. For the Warriors, he hit .242 this season in 47 games, made 45 starts. As a check look down to first, and now Scarlett's home with the 0-1. Running all the way, Glossa lays the tag down, they call safe, and Connolly scoots in to score, and the Outlaws going to have a 1-0 lead. So the Outlaws pull off the double steal, which is not something we saw too much from this team a year ago. The count's now 0-2 on Dale, here with still just 1 out. Runners at second as Dale watched that one go by. Home plate umpire going to take a long look down there to second. 2-2 pitch from Scarlett. Swing and a miss. Dale about came out of his shoes as he's going to walk back to the dugout. Oh, they say he got a piece. Okay. So Dale stays alive. Our home plate umpire a little bit late with his calls tonight, as Dale even thought that he had struck out, started to take a turn back to the Outlaw dugout. All right, 2-2, we'll do it again. Scarlett, a little lootsy down to second. Running all the way down to third, check throw down there to third, safe again is Ethan Glossa. 2 straight stolen bases, and they call that ball 3. Glossa's a threat to steal on the base pass for Oneonta. Is the count now full on Dale? First and second base are open, still just 1 out. The Outlaws already a 1-0 lead. Dale smoked between second and short, going to roll into center field. Glossa comes home to score, and Dale's got himself an RBI here in the first. So the score is now 2-0 Outlaws, as they already have 4 hits here in this first inning. Connor Waiting going to come up to the plate next for the Outlaws, as we're already down to the 5 spot in the order. Waiting 1 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts in the opener for Oneonta. Hit a double, which was the only extra base hit for the Outlaws, as both Brendan Connolly hits were singles. 41 games played, a .313 average, with 6 homers and 28 RBIs. Is his first inning mound visit from Matt Gonzalez, certainly something to take note of. It's never often that you like to see your starter get rung up. And obviously the Outlaws have come poised and ready to the task of a Monday night game here in Glens Falls with a show that they're putting on in the first inning with the bats. And again, my apologies about some of the sightline difficulties here on our YouTube screen, and also, of course, on that first play of the game. As Jaden Ross, we thought it drew the want for the Outlaws, but ultimately took the looking strikeout at the top of the order. But 1 down, now a runner at first base. Just 1 out is waiting. We're down to the 5 spot in the order here. Scarless home with the pitch is waiting into right field. Ward going to race over towards the line as it falls in. Dale a big turnaround second. He's going to slide headfirst into third, and the Outlaws will have runners at the corners with 1 out. So Jacoby Dale goes first to third on the waiting hit to right field. First and third, 1 out. And now Matt Carrera going to be looking to do some damage here for the Outlaws in the 6th spot. He's the extra hitter tonight for Keaton Mark and Josiah Aska. Swings from the right side, making his first appearance here in the orange and black. 2-0 score, 1 down, top of the first. Outlaws looking to cash in some more. Carrera, first pitch swing, going to foul it back. So the count's 0-1 here on the extra hitter. Everybody from Hudson Valley and Herkimer starting to roll in here for this Outlaws roster. Get some more guys coming in later throughout the week as well, as they're not going to catch Wading back down there at first. Wading's not a guy who runs too often. We saw Ethan Glossa come around to score already for Oneonta as he stole a pair of bases. 3 total stolen bases for the Outlaws this inning as the 0-1 out there into the gap in right center field. Ward going to lay out and make the catch. Jacoby Dale is going to tag up from third. He'll come in to score, and there's an RBI for Matt Carrera here in this first inning as it's 3-0. So the Outlaws still with a runner at first as we update our scoreboard feed here for you. We go down to Brody Raleigh, who gets his first start of the year for the Outlaws. Raleigh going to watch that one come in high for ball 1. Raleigh playing left field tonight here for this Outlaw squad. Just finished his freshman year at Western Carolina. You heard from him on our pregame show tonight. And again, that interview is available on Facebook and Instagram, as that's low for ball 2. Raleigh 5'10", 190. Intimidating presence in the box here for any opposing starter. Jacob Scarlett really struggling with his command here in this first inning. Talking about his 4-pitch mitts. He's really been pounding fastballs, as that is going to leave the ballpark here up behind home. 2-1 now the count on Raleigh. Down at first base is Connor Wading. 3 runs have already come in to score for the Outlaws after we started the game with a strikeout. Second and third are open. Shadows continuing to creep in as that's ball 3. Pitch that just wouldn't break back over the plate. Scarlett is hoping he can pick up a couple more strikes here and get out of this first inning. Comes set with the 3-1. Raleigh going to smoke this one out towards left. Catch going to race on back in the corner. As this one's going to leave the ballpark. Brody Raleigh goes yard over the left field fence, and the Outlaws going to lead this thing 5-0. Brody Raleigh clears the bases here for the Outlaws. As he picks up his first 2 RBIs of the summer. You love to see the celebration down there in the Outlaws dugout for that one. As this team putting on quite the show here in this first inning. Darren Dangler now going to step to the plate for the Outlaws. .521 average over the course of his 5-year varsity career at Courtright. Takes ball 1. Dangler hits from the right side as the 1-0 smoked up in the air. Shallow center it'll go. Mati and Gabriel both bat. They give way to Meyer, who makes the play in shallow center. So it'll be an F8 to end this first inning, but not before Brody Raleigh hits the shot heard round Glens Falls over the left field fence. It's 5-0 Oneonta Outlaws as we head to the bottom of the first inning here in Glens Falls. Back here to Eastfield and Glens Falls as we get ready to go for the bottom half of inning number 1. The Outlaws put up their first multi-run inning and first runs of 2024 in that top half of the first as they bring in 5 to score on 5 hits, no errors, nobody left on base, and we'll turn things over to Jordan Goebel on the bump here for Oneonta as Cody Meyer, the center fielder, going to come to the plate here for Glens Falls to get their bottom half of the first inning finally started here on your Outlaws YouTube page. Meyer playing center field, and Cato Kleinman, the designated hitter, going to follow him up. Jordan Goebel just finished his sophomore year at Herkimer, sends a first pitch fastball in there. Out to shallow right field, this one goes. Ross coming on in, makes the catch, and so there'll be 1 down here in the bottom of the first. 1 pitch, 1 out, and you like to see that from Jordan Goebel. Known for being efficient, good pitch placement too. 7 appearances at Herkimer this year, 2-0 record, 1 save, even through a complete game, 19 total innings, 19 hits, 7 runs, 6 of those earned, and finished his year with a .284 earned run average. Kleinman, a lefty, one of just 2 in the order tonight for Glens Falls, takes ball 1 in tight at the knees. Just finished his junior year, Chaminade, 5'9", 180. Waving that bat around on the left side, takes ball 2 in low. James Ward, the right fielder, who's making his first appearance of the season for Glens Falls, waiting in the on-deck circle. He wears 37. Goebel standing out there working from the third base side, in with the 2-0 as this one, chopper out to second. Kane's going to pick up, field over to first to waiting in time for the out. And there'll be a 2 down quickly here for Jordan Goebel. 4-3 will be the put out if you're scoring at home on the 2-0 pitch, as it's now James Ward, bat to another righty. Ward played his freshman season at St. John Fisher, transferred to St. Rose for his sophomore year, and now with St. Rose closing, going to be looking for a third school for the 3rd consecutive year. With 2 outs, that one going to sail into the opposite batter's box and be ball 1. Griffin, the third baseman, in the on-deck hole for Glens Falls if they need him. 1-0 count with 2 outs. Outlaws already a 5-0 lead as that's a called strike. It's 1-1. Our home plate umpire we got tonight, certainly not too loud with his calls, even being just short to home plate here. Can't even hear him. And his hand signal is a little bit low as the 1-1 from Goebel, outside and away. Yet again, 2-1. Gobel's going to be looking to give the squad some good innings here. Had to go to the bullpen after just 2 1/3 on Friday night. Colin Condon, though, absolutely electric. We talked about him in our pregame. Chopper back up the middle. King going to come on in. Throws over to first in time for the out. And Oneonta gets out of this first inning unscathed. 3 batters come to the plate and 3 retired. Let's go to the second here on Outlaws YouTube. It is 5-0. Welcome back to Eastfield here in Glens Falls. Top of the second inning as the Outlaws played 5 in the first on 5 hits. The big shot of the first is Brody Raleigh with the first Outlaws home run of 2024 over the left field fence. As now we go to 9-10-1 in the Outlaws order as Ryan King will lead off this top half of the second against Ryan Scarless, who returns to the bump for his second inning of work here for the Dragons. King played in just 14 games this season at URI as he takes a big swing there. Can't get anything. It's 0-1. Making his first start here as an Oneonta Outlaw. Came with his teammate and Jack Hopko here to Oneonta for the summer as that's ball 1. And the count will be even at 1-1. Hopko and King, best friends at URI. So really looking forward to enjoying their summer here together. Is the 1-1 going to miss the zone? It'll be 2-1. King struggles hitting for power at this level. Big-time power hitter in high school, but just 1 home run throughout his collegiate career so far. In fair ground, Morano going to take it to himself over to the bag as he gets the first out here in this second inning. So it's a 3 unassisted on the 2-1. And Jake Bateman now going to come to the dish. Bateman down in the 10 spot for the second straight game here for Mark and Azka. 0-1 with a walk and a strikeout. The dish the other day. In the righty batter's box, he watches that one sail down Broadway for strike 1. Only appeared in 2 games this year in his freshman season at Holy Cross. As Scarless fires the 0-1 in low, and the count's even at 1-1. Just 4 plate appearances in total. And that'll be another pitch called for a strike as it's 1-2. Again, our home plate umpire not very deliberate with his strike calls, so sometimes have to watch the scoreboard and wait and see. Is the 1-2 caught off the end of the bat in foul ground, thrown by Merowitz to Morano, dropped down there at first, and this should be an error. The Outlaws going to have a base runner down there at first in Bateman. As he strikes out, and yes, indeed, they do flash error, so that'll be E3 to allow Bateman to get on base. Back to the top of the order we go, as it's now Ross with still one down here in the top of the second inning. Throw from Scarless over to first, not going to be in time. As Ross going to fire this one right off his leg. Now he'll walk away and try to shake this one off. Again, it's Bateman down at first. 0-1's the count, one out here in the second. Outlaws playing first of 3 consecutive days, now getting an off day on Thursday as a result of the scheduling being changed to a doubleheader Saturday at home. That'll be a called strike on the upper edge. And Ross going to be down in the count, 0-2. Brendan Connolly, who singled and got that Outlaw scoring frenzy going in the first, waiting on deck. Home with the 0-2, about at the batting helmet level, as it'll back Ross up 1-2. The Watertown Rapids having an off day today before they go down to Oneonta tomorrow. Boonville not in action today either, but they're going to play tomorrow before they come to Damascus on Wednesday. Ross with that one in the foul ground just to the right of the Glens Falls dugout, stays alive. So pitch 5 of the at-bat coming up here is Scarless, hoping he can finish off this inning here for Glens Falls. Still no action up down in their bullpen as they're hoping they can get some innings. Looks like Glens Falls going to catch Mr. Bateman in a pickle down there between first and second. Bateman going to fall on down, scrambles past, going to get to first. Bateman gets back to first. I don't know how they missed the tag. He got caught in a pickle between first and second after the swing and the miss by Ross to strike out. So Bateman's going to be staying close to the bag here for the Outlaws moving forward as we go down to Brendan Connolly here in the 2 spot in the order with now 2 outs. Connolly singled and stole third to home his last time up on the double steal for the Outlaws, giving them their first run of the game as the count's 1-0. Connolly holding that bat high. He doesn't offer it to 1-0, and it'll be 2-0. Connolly's waving that bat around like it's a magic wand, hoping he can use it to do some damage here. The 2-0 out high in the air towards right center. Meyer and Ward both drifting over. Meyer's going to make the play, and that'll send the Outlaws down here in the second inning. They're going to strand a runner as we go to the bottom of the second here in Glens Falls. Still a 5-0 Outlaws lead. Bottom of the second inning from Glens Falls as we welcome you back here to Eastfield. The Dragons commit an error in the top of the second inning as Bateman strikes out, and then a drop ball by Morano down there at first. Bateman also, a little pickle play, managed to get back to first safely, which was certainly something you're not accustomed to seeing, as ball one going to be taken here by Jack Griffin. Griffin in the 4 spot of the order here for first-year PGCBL head coach Ryan Dio. Goebel home with the 1-0 in low as the count's now 2-0. Trey Morano talking about his error in the top of the first inning, or top of the second, excuse me. Going to have a chance to redeem himself here coming up as he's waiting in the on-deck circle. 2-0 in the opposite batter's box. It's 3-0 on Griffin. And now Goebel, 1 pitch away from offering up a free pass. Glens Falls sent down 1-2-3 in the first inning, just as Socrates was on Friday night. 3-0, up and away. They call it a strike. And so Griffin hangs alive at the plate. Goebel looking here on the 3-1. As this one's sent up in the air, out in the shallow right field. Waiting, drifting on over, trying to make the play, and he does. Connor waiting out there in that bullpen area. Going to catch the pop fly, and there's one down here in the bottom of the second. Great play there by Waiting, showing off his range. Trey Morano will now step to the plate here for Glens Falls. 6'5", 230 ready batter. 0 for 4 on the season thus far with 2 strikeouts. Goebel ready here as they've yet to clear the scoreboard from our last hitter. Zoe Collins, the extra hitter, waiting on deck as they're going to drill him on the shoulder. So that'll be the first base runner of the game for the Dragons. Came in on the inner shoulder. As we go now down to Zoe Collins. It's like we might have had a little change to the order here for the Dragons. As that'll be up and away for ball 1. Waiting to see who's going to come up next to the plate. As the 1-0 home to Collins, sent up behind home plate, as that'll be 1-1. When out of the ballpark here, there's not much room behind home plate before you get to the parking lot area. Kind of similar setup to Oneonta in that sense. Morano down there at first. Again, the count's now 1-1. That'll bounce in the dirt outside for ball 2. It's like we did indeed have a change to the Glens Falls orders. I'm finally getting that here. This is Morano at the plate now. As the count's now 2-2. Originally had Morano in the 6th spot in the order, so must have had some last minute shifting around. Gotta love the joys of summer college ball because things like that happen. Last minute changes with guys getting scratched out of the lineup and whatnot as the count moves full 3-2. So we'll see defensively if Glens Falls had a change in that sense. If this is Morano at the plate right now, which indeed it is, turning his back to us wearing 40. Seems like that's the kind of night we're having. Good bat on ball in the left field that rolls. Morano going to take the turn, and it'll be first and second here for the Dragons with still nobody out. So we go to Zoe Collins, now the extra hitter. 6th spot in the order here for the Dragons. Third base is open, nobody out. Outlaws still on top, 5-0, bottom of the second. So that was the first hit of the ball game. Is this one going to be in belt level, 1-0? Collins dancing around in that batter's box. Stephen Catch now waiting on dead, so it looks like we're back on track in the Glens Falls order we were given before game time. Counts now 1-1. Is Goebel, a little look down to second. Home with this one, up and away, ball 2. Wearing that all-white batter's helmet on the left side. Left fielder from Lancaster, PA, waiting on deck. Again, that's Stephen Katz for Glens Falls. Home with the 2-1, up and away, ball 3. As Goebel still looking to get his first out of the inning after the 1-2-3 frame. Ready here with the 2-2, drilled out just inside the line in right field. This should score 2. Griffin gonna chug around third. He'll come in to score. Morano gonna hold up at third, but cruising into second is Collins, and the Dragons get their first run of the game. So it'll be a stand-up double for Collins. And still nobody out. Cat Sitcho, 215, just finished his freshman year at Mount St. Mary. Glens Falls having the 2 in scoring position, hoping they could play a couple more here, cracking into that early Outlaw 5-run lead as that'll sail in for ball 1. Merowitz going to follow him up, then Andrew Gabriel as we're getting down into the latter part of this Dragon order. 1-0 pitch in high at the hands, ball 2. So Cat flushes bat on back. Tighten things up here as he moves his hands up. Now in the hitter's count. 2-0 pitch as he came around on this one in foul ground, waiting. Going to run out of room here as that one gets into the seats. Just a short little fence between Waiting and those guys on the first base seating ball. As Katz trying to pick up his first hit as a Dragon, coming into the night 0 for 2 as he's come off the bench twice already. Bringing that batter out, now going to choke up once again. 2-1, Goebel a little look down to second. In off the upper outside edge, making it a strike 2-2. As Goebel probably going to go to an off-speed pitch here. Try to catch off guard. Long look down to the base pass. Again, sent up foul as that one gets over the press spots up behind us and into the East Field parking lot. We're set up here just behind the bot seats, behind home plate at East Field, the press spots and offices right behind us here at Glens Falls. Nobody out in this bottom of the second, 2-2. Gonna spray up some dirt as the count will move full here on Catch. So Catch certainly working Goebel deep. Outlaws do have plenty of guys available out of their bullpen tonight if they need them. Full count pitch, sent out in the air, deep towards left field. Raleigh gonna charge on back, drops it off his glove. That'll be a 2, maybe even a 3-base error. Raleigh slow to get the throw in, diving into third is Catch, and that's a 3-base error. 2 runs come in to score, as it is now 5-3. Here in Glens Falls. So Keaton Mark's going to come out of the dugout as he takes a look down to the Outlaw bullpen. Going to try to settle down Goebel here and probably not a better time to do it. So a 3-base error goes into blitz on Brody Raleigh. Hasn't been put on the scoreboard here yet in East Field, but certainly on that one you can't justify anything other than that. Raleigh had just turned on back, was racing in front of the track, clipped it off his glove as he couldn't snarl it in ice cream style. Lights are starting to come on here at East Field. They've waited quite some time to get them on. We're getting close to the 8 o'clock hour here. We started about 20 minutes late to begin with. As Mark's going to look down to his bullpen, and it looks like the Outlaws going to have some bullpen action. Lucas Grantham down there playing catch, trying to see who the pitcher is for the Outlaws. Numbers kind of shielded with the fencing area we have in our way, but nonetheless, we'll see what the lease looks like on Goebel moving forward as that one skipped in the dirt in front of Merowitz. 1 ball, no strikes. And now Glens Falls back behind the Outlaws by just 2. Right down Broadway. Whiffed on that one, 1-1. Got first and second open. All 3 of those runs should go in as unearned if that counts as an error. Sent up sky high behind home plate, charging back. Dangler not going to have enough space for that ball. So it got into our bot seats. As now Goebel just 1 strike away from getting his first out of the second inning. Merowitz 1 for 1 on the season so far as he came off the bench in Game 2, the 9-4 loss against Albany on Saturday for this Dragon squad. 1-2 from Goebel, caught off the edge of the bat, and Merowitz stays alive. Merowitz choking up on the hands. Errors are evened up 1 apiece. 5-3, hits favor the Outlaws. Same in the runs department right now. Choking up, going to send it back behind the plate, foul yet again. So Merowitz continuing to work this count, but it's still 1-2, and pitch 6 coming up here, the at-bat. The bench coaches for Glens Falls trying heavily to communicate with Catch down there. Is taking quite the lead off the third, especially after Goebel comes in motion. Working from the first base side. Caught off the top of the bat, and now pitch number 7 coming up. Would you believe the count's still 1-2? Lights are certainly going to play a factor here moving forward as we move on throughout the night. Still just in the second inning, could be in for a long one here at East Field on a Monday. Again, we turn around and play the next 2 days at home, so luckily the Outlaws not going to have a bus trip to worry about till later on in the week as Goebel picks up his first strikeout. Big swing and a miss to get Merowitz as he about tumbled down to the dirt. Andrew Gabriel, the second baseman, will now come up in the 9 spot of the order here for Glens Falls. Catch is still down at third. 3 have already come in to score in the inning for the Dragons. The kick and the delivery. Sent up in the air to right field. Ross charging over, makes the play for the out on the line. Throw going to come home, not going to be in time. As it's a 1-run ball game. Catch crosses the plate, productive out for Andrew Gabriel. Down to the 10 spot in the order we go. As Christian Moe going to step into the box. 5-4 score in favor of the Outlaws as the Dragons, good second inning here to make this a ball game once again. Moat choked up and fouled that one over the trees. Counts 0-1. So hopefully for the Outlaws' sake, they can send Moat down here, go back to the top of the order in the 3rd inning. Here against these Glens Falls Dragons on the road. Moat right up the middle. Connolly charges in, rolled through his legs. That should be an error. As Moat going to reach first. So they put that as the first error up on the board. They didn't put Raleigh's up on the board here. So must have counted that as a clean hit. Charging, trying to steal there was Mout. But he retreated back as Dangler's got quite the cannon behind home plate for the Outlaws. Dangler certainly not an arm you want to throw on, or run on, excuse me. He can cannon those throws down to second. Seen quite a bit of it in practice already as that's ball 2. Nice to see him getting his first reps behind home plate. Darren's a great ball player, but an even better person. Love getting to know him so far. Is Goebel going to shake him off. Now stepping out of the box, Meyer called time as he'll take some big swings. So first base is Christian Mott. 2 outs, score 5-4 in the bottom of the second in Glens Falls as that's a called strike, and the count moves to 2-1. Mott with an all red end to his bat, brown handle. There's a look down the first, 2-1, swung on and missed as the count evens up at 2-all. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in inning number 2. Goebel with a little lootsy down the first. Mott kind of taking some stutter steps as the 2-2. Drilled on the ground, right through the hole on the first base side. Big turn, Mott gets all the way to third. So it's an easy single for Meyer at the top of the order. And now the Dragons have runners at the corners. As Keaton Mark gonna walk out of the dugout. It should be a call to the bullpen for the Outlaws, as it'll be first and third with 2 outs here in this second inning. Goebel can't make it through 2. And the Dragons knocking on the doorstep of tying up this ball game as we'll step aside here for Oneonta's call to the bullpen. Back here to Eastfield. 2 outs in the second inning if you're just dropping by to join us in a 5-4 score in favor of the visiting Oneonta Outlaws, but the Dragons are knocking on the door. And Keaton Mark making his first call to the bullpen of the night as this one sent up foul behind the plate. Joel Hayner coming in to replace Jordan Goebel, who can't get through 2 innings. He goes just 1 2/3. Hayner just finished his junior year at Lynn, so he's a fighting knight. Started his collegiate career at Herkimer College as he takes a little look-see down the first. 0-1, fires home, sent up on the ground towards short. Connolly going to go with the easy play to second base in time for the out. So Oneonta's Joel Hayner going to come out of the bullpen. His first appearance of the year, gets a nice out on the second pitch, and we are going to head to the third here in Glens Falls as it is a 5-4 Oneonta score. Moat's taking over pitching duties here for Glens Falls as we go to the third inning here between the Outlaws and the Dragons on Outlaws YouTube. As the first pitch of the inning going to be ball 1 as we get rolling here. Top of the third inning, and the Outlaws hoping they can add in a couple more runs after their hot start. Gloss is at the plate, already with a 2-0 count. Singled and stole a pair of bases and came in to score on the Jacoby Dale RBI single back in the first. Moat going to send that one in low for ball 3. To the long inning his team put up in the bottom of the second inning. Got to find his rhythm here and hope he can get something going for the Dragons that they can take positively moving forwards after those 4 runs. Every time this team seems to get a little momentum, they have a situation that seems to falter it back a little bit. So it'd be just like it right now if the Outlaws piece together a nice inning here, as that's ball 4 sailing into the opposite batter's box. Glossa draws the walk as he fires the bat away. So the Outlaws going to have a runner at first. Nobody out here in this top of the third. It's Jacoby Dale going to come to the dish. Moat with a long glance down to first. Now going to fire the ball over low. Just trying to keep Glossa honest over there. Moat working from the first base side of the rubber. Now going to send a second straight pickoff over there. Won't be in time to get Glossa. There's that little fine line boundary between keeping him honest and doing it too much. Is the lights fully covering the outfield now. Jacoby Dale sending the first pitch bat foul. As the count will be 0-1. Dale had an RBI single his last time up, which was his first hit as an Oneonta Outlaw. All white batting helmet, bringing the bat around. Another pickoff throw down to first, not in time. So that's 3 over these last couple of pitches here. There's Mark continuing to rock on the hill. Dale sprays this one up in the foul ground. Morano over there just to the right of the bullpen mound made the catch. So that'll be a P3 for the out. Is Jacoby Dale going to walk back to the dugout? Connor Wading will come up now. Singled his first and only time up thus far. Came around to score on the Brody Raleigh home run. Long check look down to first. Up and away. This one sails for ball one. Wading hanging tall with that bat on his shoulder. Good signals in the box. There's another long look-see down to first. There's a swing and a miss there. Wading about came out of his shoes. All even at 1-1 with one out here in this top of the third. Second and third are open. Outlaws holding on to just a one-run lead after they went up 5-0 with a 5-run top of the first. Another long glance down to first. Sends this one home. On the run goes Glosser. He's going to slide in safe as he gets his third stolen bag of the game. So the count's now 2-1 here on Connor Wading. As Mont taking his sweet time, getting back on the rubber. Glosser, you got to think he's a threat to steal third. Only one out. Always say the unwritten rule, you never want to make the third out at third, but only one on the board. Could afford it. Seems like they really want to test the arm of Merowitz in this game. He's had no luck on the stolen base attempt so far. 3-1 from Moat. Right down Broadway, just inside the line, but skipped out into foul territory as it'll be full. 3 balls, 2 strikes and an out. Glosser down at second here in this top of the third. Outlaws playing the first of 3 consecutive games as they'll be home the next 2 days, starting tomorrow, a 7 o'clock game against Watertown. 3-2 pitch home, Waiting another foul ball. That one went into the Outlaw dugout. So he stays alive. That's the important part of it all. So now adjust his batting gloves and come ready back to the box yet again. Three-two, in high at the hands for ball 4. Is Waiting going to draw the walk. So the Outlaws will have first and second with one out here in this third inning. And one of their lethal weapons, Matt Carrera, coming to the plate. Carrera with a sat fly to right field his first time up. Sails into the opposite batter's box for ball 1. Brody Raleigh, who hit that home run back in the first, waiting on deck here for Oneonta. Got to get him doing pregame interviews more often if he's going to turn around and hit homers after we do them. Strike called, and the count will be even yet again at 1-1. Raleigh holding that bat up high on the shoulder. Taking some big practice hats. Mont home with the 1-1. Outlaws looking like they were going to go for the double steal. Shortstop Mont over to first in time for the out. Well, that's not Mott at shortstop anymore. He started the game at short, but then moved into pitch here for this inning. But 2 down. Carrera does the job advancing the base runners. Glosser was already on the move. Is Brody Raleigh going to get the free pass? So they intentionally walked Brody Raleigh, not wanting to face him again. Certainly an interesting decision here by Glens Falls, but we'll take it nonetheless. So the bases will be loaded for the Outlaws with Darren Dangler coming to the plate with 2 down. Be a perfect situation for the South Courtright product to come up with a huge hit here for the Outlaws. Only leading by a run. Outlaws dugout starting to get loud. Is Dangler ready in the box? Mott home with the pitch as that'll back up Dangler. It's 1 ball, no strikes. You hope that Dangler will wait for his pitch here and not try to come around on something too early. Watches that one in there, called strike. Keaton Mark and Josiah Asco were preaching to this team that you can take one strike, but you don't want to take two and get down in the count. So Dangler, I'm sure, going to be looking to see if he can get a piece of this next one. Called strike again, and Dangler doesn't like that one. Seems like the strike zone has been all over the plate here in these last 2 innings when the Outlaws have been at the plate. That one in right at knee level, Dangler tight. He's waving that bat around. Sent on the ground towards shortstop. Griffin going to charge in. Not going to make the play. Over to third base. But the Outlaw already there. And Connor waiting as a run comes in to score at 6-4. So Dangler going to reach on the fielder's choice. Bases will still be loaded. Now a 6-4 score with 2 outs. Is that one going to miss the zone? Ball 1. So Dangler does get credit for an RBI on that play. As the 1-0 from Mott, right down Hollywood for strike 1. One ball and 1 strike. Bateman's waiting on deck here if he gets an opportunity. Mott clips the lower outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Base is still loaded for the Outlaws. Already a run home in the inning. Hoping they can add on another, get some more insurance. On glance to second, low, and a called strike 3. We didn't get that deliberate strike 3 call by our home plate umpire, but they call it strike 3 nonetheless. So Ryan King sent back to the dugout looking. The Outlaws strand 3 on base, but most importantly, they get a run. Let's go to the bottom of the 3rd inning here in Glens Falls. It is 6-4 here on the Outlaws YouTube. Back to Eastfield here in Glens Falls. We get ready to go for the bottom of the 3rd inning. Joel Hainer, after finishing off the 2nd inning as Jordan Goebel only goes 1 2/3 for the Outlaws, back on the hill to get some more work in here. Glens Falls is going to have 3, 4, 5 up in the order. It's James Ward, the right fielder in the box, trying to lay a bunt down, and it'll be a strike as he doesn't pull the bat back away in time. So it could be a long night here in Glens Falls if the pace of play keeps up like it started here. Just in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and we've been playing ball for over an hour already. Nothing in 1 pitch. Sent high in the air, out into the gap in shallow right center. Ross going to come on in, makes the catch. As we'll put it as P9 for the first out. And you like to see the nice quick outs with Joel Hainer on the bump here for Oneonta. 3 years already completed a college ball, so he really knows what it takes to get the job done. No stranger to summer baseball either. Is Jack Griffin going to step in on the left side? Hayner working from the first base side of things. One down, bottom third, sits for a score. Right down Main, it's a called strike. Griffin hit by a pitch his last time up. Is the 0-1 sent back into the screen, 0-2. So Hayner hoping he can pick up his first strikeout here of the season as he takes another long look home. It's down to first, home with the 0-2, back to the screen yet again it comes as Griffin hangs alive. Hayner hoisting that ball up in his hand. Adjusting the hat as now he kicks. Sent where there's nobody on the first base side into right field. That'll be a single for Griffin here in this third inning. So another base runner for the Glens Falls Dragons. And now the Outlaws going to be set up in double play defense with one out. They'll shift Connolly quite a ways over and have King kind of drifting close to that second base bag. Couple of step lead off first for Griffin. As the right foot set back in the box here for Marino. Not going to be called a strike, as they say, a bit low. As it's 1 ball, no strikes. Marino choking up on the bat. Another quick look down to first. Swing and a miss as Marino can't connect. 6-5 are the hits, 1 error apiece in the field here for these two squads so far. First of 8 meetings here in 2024. Outlaws going to make 5 trips up here to Glens Falls. Dragons just 3 trips to Oneonta this summer. Outlaws make up for it in their season set with Mohawk Valley as the split in that one 5-3. 5 trips for the Diamond Dogs to Damascus. Just 3 trips for Oneonta to Little Falls. Ball 2, that one will be in there. So in Collins waiting on deck, hoping he can get some hats. Only situation he wouldn't is if the Outlaws can indeed turn a double play. 2-1 from Hayner. Sent high in the air out towards right field. Ross drifting over. Gonna make the catch for the out. Ross had an inning in the game against Socrates on Friday where he made 3 straight putouts in right field. And now here he's made 2 in this third inning. As it'll be Zoen Collins coming up next. Collins lefty swinger in the extra hitter spot tonight for Glens Falls as both teams opting to bat 10. Couple of step lead off first as that one going to clip the zone for a strike. It's 0-1. Couple of step lead for Jack Griffin off of first base. Hayner not even going to acknowledge him as that'll be up and away, ball 1. Little elevator shot pitch. They actually add that as a strike to the scoreboard here. So Hayner 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. Slow roller out toward short. Connolly in the chest, thrown to first in time for the out. And so we go to the 4th inning here in Glens Falls as the Dragons strand another runner here in the bottom of the 3rd. Outlaws hold the 6-4 lead.
Back of the fourth inning here from Glens Falls. Top half of the frame at that as the Outlaws going to send 10-1-2 to the plate. Leading things off will be Jet Bateman, who reached on an error his first and only time up, which came back in the second. Oneonta tacked on an insurance run in the third. Bateman first pitch swinging. Going to skip into foul territory just beyond that third baseline as the count will be 0-1. Certainly a long-paced game here on a Monday night, only being in the fourth inning to this point. But again, lucky that the Outlaws now having an off day on Thursday after the change in scheduling. Is that one going to be a called strike? As it'll be 0-2. My pencil runs out of lead here. Good times to be had by all on a Monday night. Lost in the opposite batter's box. Counts now 1-2. So Bateman going to choke up, try to play plate defense here. Hope he can take something for a ride. Jaden Ross waiting on deck. Home with the 1-2. Is this one high in the air out towards right center? Charging over comes Ward. Snarls it in the glove for the out. And threw it away like it was nothing. Routine play to right. And there'll be one down for the Outlaws, top of the order here in the top of the fourth. 6-5 are the hits. As the Outlaws, middle of the order, 2-5 has really showed up to this point in the game tonight. Hopefully everything's all right as some fire trucks coming out of the fire station, which is just diagonal across the street here to Eastfield. Big swing by Jaden Ross, couldn't connect. Nothing in one. Not just 2, but 3 fire trucks coming out. So, yeah, hopefully everything's all right here in Glens Falls. This Monday night, pretty dry evening, no rain. Count 1-1. First pitch conditions tonight was 80 and sunny. Wind blowing out to right center field. 1-1 pitch. Ross again can't connect as he whiffed. 1-2. After this inning comes to a close, we'll go and take our first look of the night at the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard. 1-2 pitch, in at the knees, ball 2, as Mott staying out here for his second inning of work here for the Dragons. The one thing about the Dragons, 1s and 7s on their jerseys, not much of an end to them, so 7s look like 1s, 1s look like 7s, is the 2-2. Going to be a bit high, it's ball 3. Ross able to work that count full as the bases are empty here for the Outlaws. 5 of the runs came in the top of the first if you're late to join us. 3-2 pitch, a swing and a miss. Laying the tag on was Merowitz, making sure Ross didn't try to drop his bat and go to first as there's now 2 down here quickly for Oneonta. Schedule for the rest of the week, once again, if you were curious, home game tomorrow night against Watertown at 7. Home game Wednesday against Boonville at 7. We'll be posting about it on our social media due to the schedule change. Thursday's now an off day. Friday we'll be in Amsterdam for a 6:45 start. And then Saturday we'll now be playing a doubleheader against the first-year Albany Baseball Club starting at 5 o'clock. Brendan Connolly ahead in the count 1-0 as the Outlaws back to their 2 spot in the order. Connolly a pair of hits the other night. 1 hit already in this game. Is that one in high at the hands? 2-0. Once again, our home plate umpire has been a bit difficult with his calls to read. His strike call is certainly far from deliberate. Is Connolly hanging high in this count? 3-0. Mott with another one. Connolly going to get past the diving second baseman of Gabriel to right. Picks up his second hit of the night here with 2 outs. So Connolly able to pick up his 4th single of the season. And we'll go to Herkimer's Ethan Glossa, the designated hitter here in the 3-0 for the Outlaws. Single and a walk,
And we're here in just the 4th inning. Gloss with 3 stolen bases, too, as he sends a smoker out in the left center field, charging back at the track. Meyer able to catch it on the warning track for the 3rd out. Gloss takes it for a ride, but it won't leave the park. In the 4th inning, the Outlaws pick up a hit in strand 1. Bottom of the 4th coming up here in Glens Falls. 6-4. The Outlaws have the lead. Back to Eastfield, bottom of the 4th inning. The Outlaws a 6-4 lead on the Dragons here in the first of 8 meetings between these 2 East Division rivals. Game 2 of 46 on the summer for Oneonta. Back out is Hayner. He's already gone an inning and a third and going to send his first pitch of the frame in for a ball. Stephen Catch reaching on what was ultimately scored as a triple that caught off the glove of Brody Raleigh in left field his last time up, as that rolls through the batter's box all the way back behind home plate, making the count 2-0. Tightening up on the bat is the 2-0. Gonna miss in the outer batter's box yet again. 3-0's the count. Seven to 5 are the hits in favor of the Outlaws. Hayner home with this one. Called strike, and it's 3-1. Merowitz and Gabriel, 2 and 3 due up in the inning. As we're here in just the 4th from Glens Falls. Big offering, couldn't connect. Count moves full on Catch. They'll adjust up high on the bat. Still nobody out here in the 4th. Misses in the opposite batter's box with this one. So Hayner offers up a walk. In Glens Falls, having a leadoff base runner for the 2nd time in 4 innings tonight. Jordan Merowitz will step into the batter's box. Outlaws once again going to set up in double play defense. Will be just a bit above the feet for ball 1 here on Jordan Merowitz. Struck out swinging his first time up back in inning number 2. Hayner, quick glance down to first. Gonna miss the zone with this one, ball 2. Glens Falls coaches have switched up who's coaching first and who's coaching third from what they had for the first couple innings. 2-0 from Hayner. Another huge swing and nothing there. 2 balls and a strike is our count. Hayner choking up high on the bat. Another long look down to first. Gonna fire this ball. Trying to keep Catch honest over there as it got away from waiting. Rolled just shy of the bullpen area. And that'll be scored an error on the Outlaws. So it'll be E1 to advance Catch over to second. And now Hayner going to step back on the rubber and try to shake this one off. His first pickoff attempt of the night. An unsuccessful one at that. Big swing, evens it up at 2-2. As Merowitz hanging alive. Hayner trying to sit up from the mid-arm slot on this one. Home with the 2-2. In the opposite batter's box, it goes 3-2. Seems like his command a little all over the place here on the first 2 hitters. Is Hayner trying to settle back into a groove. Can't let that error get to him here. He's got to shake it off. Outlaws, not much of a cushion to work with. Only up 6-4. Fouled back over the top of the screen. Going to chink off the fence. Rolls out of the ballpark. A couple of the Glens Falls pitchers who aren't in action tonight walking amongst the seats on 50-50 tickets. Talking to some fans in attendance as well. Swing and a miss as Hayner picks up a huge K. So Jordan Merowitz walks back to the dugout on strikes, and up comes Andrew Gabriel here for the Dragons. Darren Dangler going to walk out and have a conversation with Joel Hayner. Not a bad move by the young catcher. Had an opportunity to talk to Dangler at practice yesterday. He was committed to go to St. Rose, but with the announcement of the closure, had to scramble late in his recruitment process, find a new spot, and he's headed to Russell Sage to join his brother up there next year as a Gator. Brian Dangler, an arm that was available out of the bullpen for the Outlaws on Friday, once again available tonight. So we might see the grade 8, as that one won't find the zone. Gabriel, sacrifice fly to right field his first time up in the second. 1-0 is the count, 1 out here, bottom 4. Hayner, a little wootsy down the second. Home with the pitch as this one into foul ground on the first base line. Waiting, charging over when so was Ross as no one could get there. Evened up at 1-1 with 1 out. Gabriel getting his first action of the season here as a Dragon. Him and James Ward were the only 2 prior to tonight that hadn't had at least 1 plate appearance yet here for Ryan Dio's squad. As more guys continue to roll into town and lineup changes are made, that'll certainly change. No connection on that fastball, 1-2. Hayner just likes to seem to pound these to the zone. As Hayner skips his curveball in the dirt, all the way back to the screen it comes. Be a wild pitch advancing the base runner. Counts 2-2. And man, I guess my fingers are not working too well here. Seems like the buttons are a little bit smaller than my thumb is. Having to toggle the base runners over and off again. Hayner going to step off and adjust his cap. Can't say I blame him here. Trying to throw some deception after his wild pitch that got to the bat stop. Been a rough inning for him, an error and a wild pitch. Hoping he can keep this game where it's at. 2-2 pitch home. Grounded towards short. Picked up Connolly. Going to fire over to Waiting. They allow the run to score but get the out. Trade a run for an out. No problem with that. So Glens Falls going to be back within a run, and Christian Moe going to step up as we're down to the 10 spot in the GF order. Kick in the fire, as that'll be in at the hands, ball 1. Moat going to adjust his all-red batting helmet. Glens Falls has the red socks on, at least some of their guys do here tonight. The all-white pants as well. Right down Main Street was that one. Couldn't connect to make it 1-1. Hayner hoping he can get this out and finish off this inning, having gone 2 1/3. After Jordan Goebel only lasted 1 2/3 to start the ball game here tonight. The 1-1, out and away, ball 2. As that'll come once again off the plate for ball 3. Three balls and a strike with 2 outs. Hayner home with this one. Called strike. Interesting. Looked like that was a ball for sure, but the count runs full. As Hayner ready with the payoff pitch, 2 outs. Sent on a tee out towards center field, charging in, making the catch is Dale. So it'll be a line out to center field to end the frame, but not before Glens Falls comes back within a run. We go to the 5th inning here in Glens Falls, and it is a 6-5 ball game here between the Outlaws and the Dragons. Welcome back to Eastfield here in Glens Falls, top of the 5th inning. Straight ahead of us here on our Outlaws YouTube channel. Once again, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do. All Outlaws home and road games going to be streamed here for the rest of the 2024 season. Dale, huge swing, can't connect. He goes down in the count, 0-1. So our score now 6-5 after the Dragons add 1 on Joel Hayner in the bottom half of the 4th. Dale going to choke up, and that one will roll away through the ball, batter's box, and it'll be evened up at 1-1. Dale set up with his right foot back. Inner foot tight to the plate, sends one through the air, back into left center, going to fall in for a hit. Dale rounds first, he'll chug into second, takes a huge turn. He's going to stop there. Jacoby Dale, a leadoff double here to start the 5th for the Outlaws. So you love to see that. Jacoby Dale coming up with his 2nd hit of the night as he started 2 for 3, and we go down to Connor Waiting. Waiting, shaking his head in the box. Trying to get comfortable. That's one thing. Waiting seems to like to be comfortable in the box. Hitting a walk in the ball game so far. We're down to the 5 spot in the order here for Oneonta. No problem with Merowitz coming out to talk to his pitcher and Moat right now. Certainly here for the Dragons. They're hoping they can hang on and finally get a win in front of their home crowd. Losing 4 in a row to start your year at home certainly wouldn't be ideal, as the Dragons going to have quite a few road games coming up on their schedules. We'll look ahead to their upcoming schedule as we move forward here. This one bounces in the dirt, and Dale having to turn and run back down to second. He's bat standing up, not even a throw. Eight hits to 5 on the scoreboard right now. 2-1 the errors in favor of Oneonta. Well, 2 committed by the Outlaws in that sense. So actually, I guess 2-1 in favor of the Dragons in that department if you look at it backwards. 1 ball, no strikes on Connor Waiting. Long night here from Eastfield on a Monday. Waiting with a bomb off the bat. Going to fall in shallow left. Dale going to be held up by Keaton Mark at third. And the Outlaws will have runners at the corners with still nobody out. So good placement on that ball by Connor Waiting. Certainly got a good piece of it. As we go to Matt Carrera, the extra hitter here in the Outlaw order. Carrera 0 for 2, but he's had 2 productive outs, and it looks like we might be getting a Glens Falls call to the bullpen. We'll wait and see. Christian Mott's been out there for quite some time as he's thrown the last 2+, and yes, indeed, Ryan Dio takes the ball, and Glens Falls is going to make a call to the bullpen. We step aside here for a quick break. It's 6-5 in favor of the Outlaws, who are knocking on the door of adding some more here in the 5th.
Another call to the bullpen for the Glens Falls Dragons as we bring you back here to East Field. First pitch going to sail up and high, chin level on Matt Carrera as the Outlaws down here to their sit spot in the order. In an introduction to the new pitcher, wearing number 15, right-hander, sits 200, just finished his freshman year at UMBC, is Logan Jamross. On check look down to first, about got away from Merowitz behind the plate as it's 2-0. They actually have 1-1 up on our scoreboard here, and we'll trust their instincts more as they spend a lot more time dealing with the umpires in this area. As we've said, that's certainly been a factor all night long. Runners at the corners. Carrera plate defense, send it back to the screen. It's 1-2. So Carrera hoping he can connect for his first hit as an Outlaw here. Jacoby Dale doubled and then just got to third on Connor Wading's signal, not wanting to test the arm of catch out there and left here for the Dragons. 1-run lead, trying to make it more. Off the outside edge of the plate, called strike 3. Carrera going to walk back to the dugout, having taken a backwards K, and up comes Brody Raleigh, who they opted to intentionally walk his last time up. Raleigh being allowed to take some practice swings as he'll step into the box. Looks like they're not going to walk him yet again. So he's responsible for 3 of those 6 Outlaw runs that have crossed the play. On the move, down to second base goes Wading as he completes the steal. So now 2 runners in scoring position here for the Outlaws and an 0-1 count on Raleigh. Raleigh going to choke up on the bat. Nothing wrong with that. 9-5 are the hits. We're slowly creeping forward to the halfway home point in this game. Going to skip and spray up some dust. Count goes to 1-1. So Raleigh holding that bat high up underneath the shoulder. Looking around at the PGCBL out-of-town scores. Albany Baseball Club a 5-1 lead against Mohawk Valley on the road. Raleigh shoots the 1-1 up into right field. Ward charging over, going to catch it just inside the line. Tagging up from third goes Dale. Wadington to third, and it is 7-5 Outlaws. So Jacoby Dale charges in from third to score. Wading advances over to third, and the Outlaws still have a runner in scoring position here for Darren Dangler. First and second base are open. Darren Dangler got on base on a fielder's choice last time up as he takes strike 1. Outlaws 2 straight home games coming up the next 2 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Watertown tomorrow, Boonville Wednesday. Make sure you come on out and join us as this one ball 1. Obviously, if you can't, we'll be live here on YouTube for you, but we'd prefer to have you at Damaski. Come enjoy some Outlaws summer baseball before it gets too late. Everybody says they'll get to a game. It's like a force of habit, but then as the summer rolls on, you're like, man, oh man, it's getting later and later, and I haven't made it yet. So why not come early and come often this year? As 2024 is going to be a summer to remember. This Outlaws team certainly hoping they can give all you fans watching on YouTube something to remember tonight. As the count now 2-1 here on Darren Dangler. That'll skip in the dirt as that one's for the Worms. 3 balls and a strike it is. He adjusts his helmet. Ryan King waits on deck. Now Jamross going to give the ball back to his catcher as he wants a new one. 9-5 are the hits. Jamross still adjusting his red hat out there. 1 out away from being halfway through this one. Jamross with a kick in the fire as it misses the zone. Ball 4 is Darren Dangler going to fire the bat away. So Darren Dangler reaches base here for the Outlaws. And it's runners at the corners with 2 outs. 7-5 your scores. The Outlaws plate and runs here over these last couple of frames. They love the odd innings tonight, scoring in the first, third, and fifth. 5 of those runs coming back in the first, 1 in the third, and then, of course, 1 already here in this half inning. King ahead in the count 1-0. Got some motorcycle action behind us here in Glens Falls. There's a couple blazing by the ballpark. Long look down to first here in Darren Dangler. That one in high at the hands, ball 2. Waiting on deck if they need him is Holy Cross's Jake Bateman here for the Outlaws. Couple of quick swings for Ryan King. Is Jamross home with the 2-0 in belt high, ball 3. So King hoping he can give the Outlaws another base runner and load things up for Bateman. Jamross, another quick looksee down to first. Inside, ball 4, is Ryan King going to draw a walk as well. And it is bases loaded for the 10-hole hitter in Jake Bateman. Bateman is flown out and also reached on an error as we get a pitching coach visit here from Matt Gonzalez as we step aside here for a quick break on YouTube. Let's keep the fun going here at Eastfield. 10 spot in the order for the Outlaws. Top of the 5th inning. Already plated 1. Bases are loaded here with 2 outs. Logan Jamross still on the hill. It's Bateman up as he takes ball 1. Bateman coming to the plate here for the Outlaws in back-to-back innings. They've put together quite the couple of frames here to start this game. Certainly hoping with this offensive slugfest after Friday night, they can come away with a victory to come home tomorrow 1-1. Is the count now 1-1? It's waiting at third, Dangler at second, King stands at first. 1-1 from Jamross, gonna not clip the zone as it's ball 2. Thought he had found that lower outside edge. But our home plate umpire has certainly been all over the place all game long here. Just force these pitchers to work in tight to the plate, not give them anything on the corners, as that'll be an inside pitch. Thought it had clipped Jake Bateman. Play to the plate, not going to be in time. As Dangler going to advance over to third. Waiting comes in to score, and it is 8-5 Outlaws here in Glens Falls. So it'll now be just second and third at an 8-5 score in a 3-1 count. Outlaws certainly keeping things exciting here tonight at Eastfield. Jamross with a 3-1 in high at the hands. Ball 4 as Bateman going to reach on the 5-pitch walk. Almost said 4-pitch, but I can't do math on a regular night, yet alone a night where we've already had quite a bit of it done. Baseball is certainly a math game as the bases are loaded for the top of the order here for Oneonta. Jaden Ross on the right side. Big leads by all the base runners as that's going to miss the zone low for ball 1. Ross, 3 strikeouts on the night at the top of the order for Keaton Mark and Josiah Aska. 2 swinging, 1 looking. Ross going to choke up a bit. Already a couple of runs home in the inning as it's an 8-5 score. Count now even 1-1. Ross, every count, He's worked these Glens Falls pitchers deep, seeing his third straight different pitcher here in these last couple of bats. It says something that we're only in the 5th inning, already his 4th at bat, as we're working up and down the lineup, leaving lots of runners on base, which was a problem for the Outlaws Friday night. Despite just the 3 hits, got a couple of walks, couldn't get anybody any further, so 7 guys left on base for Oneonta Friday night. 2-1 now the count on Ross. Connolly waiting on deck. Again, going to miss the zone as that one caught the chalk line. It's 3-1. Jamrod, since coming in relief here, having a hard time throwing strikes. Again, it doesn't help anything with that strike zone that's been all over the place. Just in the hands high on the bat. 3-1 the count. Bases are loaded, so he's got nowhere to put him. Just over his batting helmet, going to skip to the bat stop. Ross draws the walk, and it is 9-5 Outlaws. So Dangler crosses the plate. King advances to third. Bateman goes to second. As Connolly does indeed come to the plate. So 9-5 our score here, top of the 5th. Going to be a late night here from Glens Falls. As we've already been playing about 2 hours, and we're not even getting this third out of this top of the 5th yet. Send us halfway home, as that'll be ball 1. Hopefully we can pick up the pace here a little bit and roll through these last couple innings a little quicker. Is Connolly now going to step on back out of the box. Jamrod with a big sigh, home with the 1-0, upstairs and away, ball 2. Going to choke up on the bat here. Nothing wrong with that. Trying to keep himself afloat. Buds are starting to come out here in Glens Falls as well. This is getting a little buggy here right behind home plate. Two won the count. And just a reminder, with speaking of buds, I have to remind myself to pat bud spray moving forward for road games here at Eastfield, I guess. Connolly can't connect, and now it's evened up at 2-all. Taught a lesson tonight, pack a table, pat some chairs, and pat some bud spray. His first road games will do that to you, teach you lessons to know for the rest of the summer. Jamross home with the 2-2. Roller right up the middle to short. Gabriel going to take it to the bag at second for the out. As the inning finally comes to a close, but not before the Outlaws plate 3. We go to the bottom of the 5th as we are now halfway home here in Glens Falls. 9-5. The Outlaws have the lead. Back to Eastfield we come here on Outlaws YouTube. Bottom of the 5th inning, as it's now a 9-5 Outlaws score in Oneonta, and making another call to the bullpen as we'll introduce you to our new pitcher in just a moment. It's going to be ball 1 as we're back at the top of the order. Cody Meyer at the dish here for Glens Falls. Meyer 1 for 2 on the ball game so far. Sent a rocket out to center field. Dale charging and lays out for the catch, and he's got it. Jacoby Dale, that's a play of the game candidate right there. He charged in quite a ways on the 1-0, just stuck his glove up there like a prayer and makes the catch as there's now 1 down here in the 5th. New pitcher for the Outlaws is Brian Dangler. Is that one going to miss out of the zone? Ball 1. Nice to see Dangler coming out here and getting some work for the Outlaws after being available for the last couple of games. Out towards short. Connolly going to barehand this one to first. Not going to be in time for a play there as Kleinman picks up an infield single. So on the 1-0, Kleinman sending a slow roller to short. Dangler just finished his sophomore year at Sage. He'll be back there and have a familiar face behind the plate for him in the fall, and his brother. It's now the Dangler and Dangler connection here for the Outlaws on the field. Is this one in a bit high, ball 1. Haven't played competitively together since Dangler graduated 2 years ago, as Darren finished things out at SK for the two of them in high at the belt, ball 2. And they call the balk as well. No, a hit by pitch, okay. Thought we'd gone balk there. But a hit by pitch. I don't think that clipped Ward, but hey, I don't have the angle that they have down below us here. So bat-to-bat base runners on. Here with 1 out for Glens Falls. Get that play of the game candidate by Jacoby Dale in center field, and now you hope that Jack Griffin can connect and put one in play, and the Outlaws can flip a couple outs in the field. I'll miss the zone, ball 1. Trey Marinero waiting on deck for Glens Falls. Is Dangler long look to second, home with the pitch. Bit high, ball 2. Griffin hanging tall in the box here for Glens Falls, getting some good reps in this game. 2-0 pitch. Again, going to miss the zone for ball 3. So Dangler off to a rough start in his first outing of the season here for the Outlaws. He's one of 10 returners on this team for Keaton Mark from a season ago. It's the 3-0 high for ball 4. So Darren Dangler going to come out and try to settle his brother down. He gets the first out, and then 3 in a row, reaching base here for the Outlaws defense. As we go to Trey Marinero. He's taking some big practice swings as Darren and Brian wrapping up their meeting on the mound. Marinero readjusts himself in the box here, 1 out. Bases are juiced, as that'll be a called strike. So a nice little rebound. To start the count, 0-1. Quick pitch from Dangler, got him swinging on that one. They actually throw a ball up out there, so the count will be evened up 1-1, I guess. Dangler, the kick and the delivery. Bounces this one for the Worms. Counts 2-1 on Marinero. Home plate umpire will hoist his hands up here behind the plate. is Dangler working from the first base side. Home with this one as it's sent up into foul ground. Into the trees it goes as we keep on rolling. 2-2 our count. And the base is full for the Glens Falls Dragons. So nowhere to put Marinero. Dangler gonna miss the zone. Count's full here on Marinero. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes. The kick and the fire. Dangler up and away. And that's gonna walk in a, I thought it walked in a run. They have 3-2. So Marinero stays alive, and I guess the count is full 3-2. Dangler with this one as it's sent up high on the infield. Charging back at second base, King in from center. Dale, right fielder, is actually Ross who makes the play with a cannon to home. They hold the base runners where they're at, and so they get the second out. Not before a little confusion with the count, but 2 outs now in the inning, and the base is still full here for the Dragons. So Zoe Collins will come to the plate, 1 for 2 in the ball game so far for the Dragons. Hoping he can connect and give his team a big hit here where they need it the most. This Dragons team with 4 runs in the second inning to answer the quick start that the Outlaws had with 5 in the top of the first. Managed to get another in the fourth, and now with the bases loaded and 2 outs, Zoe Collins hoping he can do something from the left side of the plate. Going to step back off this one. Count will be 1-1 here now. The corner's all over the place in the strike zone here right now. As Dangler, another nod home. Kits the 1-1. Collins high in the air out towards right center field. Dale charges back, makes the play on the track. That'll get the Outlaws out of the jam. Dangler comes in. And man, oh man, a couple of watts and a hit, but they strand the Dragons with the bases full as we go to the 6th here on Outlaws YouTube. 9-5 the score in favor of Oneonta. Ethan Glossa going to lead off the top of the 6th here for the Outlaws as we bring you back to East Field. Glossa, thus far on the day, reaching in 2 of his 3 plate appearances, had a walk and a single, and also a fly out. Is this one going to skip in the dirt all the way to the bat stop, 1-0. Glossa in this 3 spot for Keaton Mark and Josiah Aska tonight. Jacoby Dale, Connor Wading going to follow him up in this inning. Oneonta plated 3 in the 5th. Hoping they can keep the bats alive here. Is this one going to skip low? Ball 2. Gloss is a guy who's always a threat to run on the base pass, led his team, stolen bases at Herkimer this year. Jamross still out on the hill here for the Dragons after coming in and relieved. Glens Falls not afraid to use their bullpen quite a bit here tonight, despite having a busy schedule coming up. They're going to be at Saugerties tomorrow, get another off day Wednesday before they go to Amsterdam Thursday, as that's up and away, ball 3. We'll take another look at the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard for the couple of games that are going on tonight here in just a few minutes. 3-0 the count. Jamross going to miss with this one. 4-pitch walk to Glossa. So Glossa reached in 3 of his 4 plate trips so far tonight. As we slide down to Jacoby Dale, who's 2 for 3. A double and a single as the Outlaws have started to pick up some extra base hits here tonight. Only one of those on Friday night against Saugerties in the loss at home. Little Lutzy down to first. As that one will skip off the plate all the way back to the screen, and advancing to second on the wild pitch is Glossa. So Glens Falls going to meet with Logan Jamross right now. As we'll step aside here for another quick break. 1-0 count, Jacoby Dale at the plate here for the Outlaws. Well, you were probably sitting there wondering what was the delay. Glens Falls makes a mid-batter pitching change as the count 1-0 here, and Tim Wheeler coming out of the bullpen for the Dragons. Just finished his freshman year at Union. Righty hurler, sits 230, kicks and fires, and he's going to back up Dale. As the pitch goes all the way to the bat stop, and the runner advancing here for Oneonta Outlaws to the third. So it'll be 2-0. And now a runner at third. Still nobody out here in the sixth as we continue to crawl on through this game. Working from the middle of the rubber, the 2-0, out and away, ball 3. Wheeler, a big intimidating presence out there on the mound for Glens Falls. Double-digit runs 90 feet away for the Outlaws. Is that one going to clip the lower outside corner? 3-1 the count. Connor Waiting, who's reached in all 3 of his trips to the plate, has 2 hits on the night, waiting on deck with some big practice hats. As that'll come in high and inside at the hands. Bat going to be flipped aside as Jacoby Dale draws the walk, and it'll be 1st and 3rd for the Outlaws with still nobody out here in the 6th. Tim Wheeler couldn't finish off the first batter he sees. It'll be Waiting and then Matt Carrera here coming up. Second base is open. Glens Falls going to be set up in double play defense. Wheeler going to back up Connor Waiting with this one. Seems like he's been kind of all over the place here with his pitches. As they count 1-0 on the mid first baseman. Wheeler from the stretch. On the run goes Dale. That's ball 2 as Dale completes the steal. So now 2 runners in scoring position for the Outlaws. As the hits remain 9-6, runs it's 9-5. Fouled into the screen by Waiting. Count moves 2-1. Waiting, choking up high on the bat. Looking on the 2-1. Wheeler again going to miss the plate, ball 3. Waiting always seems to play his best baseball when he can play freely and play aggressively. And now that he has that advantage with the 3-1 count, choking up here. So just first base open. Wheeler, of course, doesn't want to issue back-to-back walks. Dale just advanced on the steal. Is Waiting. Makes it a full count. Goes back to the screen with it. Here on this third base line, just to the right of the Oneonta dugout. Outlaws have the third base dugout. Glens Falls has the first. Still nobody out here in the 6th. As our long night continues to roll on here at East Field. This will be the longest game that either of these 2 teams has played in thus far. As it looks like we're going to get Ryan Dio coming out of the Glens Falls dugout here. Wants to talk to his pitcher and Tim Wheeler. So we get another meeting just in front of the mound. Waiting's going to jump right back in and settle up. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. 2nd and 3rd for the Outlaws. Wheeler from the first base side, high and in tight, ball 4. So the bases will be loaded for the Outlaws with nobody out. Wheeler comes out of the bullpen. Issues a couple of wants here. So Matt Carrera going to be looking to do some damage. Carrera 0 for 3 with an RBI to start his Outlaws tenure. Bounced this one in the dirt. It's ball 1. Carrera certainly looking out towards that left field fence, hoping he can have a shot to truly do some damage to this game. Carrera, a big power guy. Just trying to get some adjustment here and find a groove playing in orange and black. The 1-0 from the stretch, kicks away in the dirt, goes to the screen. All base runners going to advance and make it 10-5 Oneonta. $10-5 will now be your score here on the wild pitch as the hard times continue to roll on for Glens Falls here tonight. 2-0 on Carrera. 10-5. Second and third. Still nobody out. Wheeler working from the middle of the rubber. Carrera not going to offer it this one as it's ball 3. Since coming out of the pen, Tim Wheeler throwing just 2 clear-cut strikes here for Glens Falls. Jacoby Dale looking down to the Outlaw dugout. Little dance off second base for Connor waiting right now as well. So first base, the only bag open, is once again going to be full. Carrera throws his bat away. And we go down to Brody Raleigh for the 4th time tonight here in just the 6th inning. It's like Dio's going to come out of the bullpen again. And Glens Falls going to take the ball from him. Another pitching change coming here for the Dragons. Bases are full for the Outlaws. Nobody out here in the 6th inning. 10-5 our score as we step aside. Back to East Field here in Glens Falls as the Dragons make another call to the bullpen. Brody Raleigh at the dish as he takes strike 1. New pitcher for Glens Falls, Ryan Johnston, 6'0", 180. Right-handed hurler as he misses out and away with ball 1 here. Counts even at 1-1. So we're hoping that Johnston can start throwing some strikes here as the Dragons picking up the wants here heavily tonight. Up and in, ball 2. Again, the strike zone's kind of been all over the place here in this game. Score still 10-5 here in favor of the Outlaws as Brody Raleigh going to watch this one get by him. Jacoby Dale going to come in from third to score. Both runners advance, and it'll be second and third here in a 3-1 pitch coming up. And now an 11-5 ball game. Things not getting any better here for Glens Falls. Is Johnston looking home here on the 3-1. Misses the plate. Brody Raleigh going to throw his bat away. No. They actually called that a strike. Okay, the count will be full. Didn't even see a hand. As the count's full, nobody out. Raleigh watches this one, and they call it a strike. You don't call that last one a strike, but you call that one a strike. Raleigh sent back to the dugout, and there's one out. So we move down to Darren Dangler in the 8th spot in the order here for the Outlaws. 1 out now in an 11-5 game. Dangler, as that one came in and drilled him on the hand. Bases will once again be full here for Oneonta. And Ryan King going to come up to the plate. King hoping he can come up with a big hit here. With everybody on in front of him. 0 for 2 with a walk in the game thus far. As that one sails in for a strike. Good breaking pitch that came on in over the lower corner of the zone in tight. The buds continuing to fly at us here in Glens Falls as King sends this one to right. Ward able to get underneath it. Tagging up from third, coming on in to score. Going to be Connor waiting. So it's 12-5 here now in favor of the Outlaws. Get a runner advancing to third, and so the Outlaws getting to a dozen. Here now in the 6th inning. King gets his first RBI of the year. Is that one a called strike? As it's 0-1 here to Bateman. It's 1st and 3rd here for the Outlaws. As Bateman quickly down in the count, 0-2. Finally trying to get out of this inning. Johnson with the 0-2. Sent on the line out towards right. Going to fall in for a hit. Chugging on in to score comes Carrera. Dangler going to be in standing to third. And the Outlaws will have runners at the corners here with 2 outs. Bateman picks up an RBI. Which also accounts for his first as an Outlaw. 13-5 score. As we're to the top of the order for the 5th time in this game. Strike 1 here to Jaden Ross. So the only inning that Jaden Ross has not come to the plate for the Outlaws was in the 2nd. As that one's going to back him up. It's 1-1. Ross going to settle back in the batter's box. Second base, the only bag open. One from Johnston. Slow roller. Past our second baseman in the shallow right. As that makes it 14-5. Bateman going to get to third. And the hit frenzy keeps coming for the Outlaws here in the 6th inning. So that is the first hit of the season for Jaden Ross, which you love to see. Still runners at the corner, still 2 outs. Now a 14-5 game as the bat held up on the shoulder. 1-0 count here on Connolly. Connolly 2 for 3. Also has reached on a fielder's choice. Runner on the run. Is Ross going to get down to second? We'll put on a wild pitch there. 2 balls, no strikes. So they send him back to first base. This one's sent on the line out towards left. Chugging on over in the corner. Falls in foul. So the count going to be 1-2. This is the 10th hitter up to the dish for the Outlaws here in the 6th inning. Already 5 home in the frame. Keaton Mark clapping and energized here on the third baseline for the Outlaws. Hoping he can come up with a hit here. This is going to miss the zone. Ball 2. Chugging in a second, standing up is Jaden Ross. So he gets a stolen bag. 2-2 from Johnston. Connolly out in the shallow left field. Catch, able to make the play. Finally down with the out, but not before the Outlaws score 5. Bottom of the 6th inning. Next up here in Glens Falls, it's 14-5 out. Bottom of the 6th inning, back to Eastfield here on Outlaws YouTube. Dangler back out for a second inning on the hill. Is this one going to miss upstairs and away? Ball 1. Dangler found himself in quite the jam last inning for the Outlaws as he got a fly out before he gave up a single, a hit by pitch, and then a walk before he ultimately got out of the jam with back-to-back flyouts. As it count 2-0 here on Steven Katz to start this inning. Again, 14-5 the score is the Outlaws. 8 runs over the course of the last 2 innings. Catch waiting here. Dangler, again, just finished sophomore year. But Sage is fanning on that one and missing. Counts now 1-2. So Cat's going to settle back in the box. 11-6. Hits favor the Outlaws in this game. Lots of walks, a couple of hit by pitches. We've had some stolen bases. We've had it all going on tonight. As that'll go back into the screen yet again, staying alive. So it's 7, 8, 9 up in the order here for Glens Falls. Outlaws hoping to get back to the 7th, add a couple more runs. Hopefully finish this game off. Dangler with this one, upstairs and away. It's ball 2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes here. Is that one going to miss the outer edge of the zone? Flips the bat away. So I guess one of those strikes actually a ball. As Cat's going to reach on a walk. Having a home plate umpire not deliberate with his calls, sometimes will do that for you and throw you off with that. Is Jordan Marowitz, who's 0 for 2, digs in, big swing, and he goes down 0-1. Marowitz back-to-back swinging strikeouts, worked a 8-pitch at bat in the 2nd inning, worked a 7-pitch at bat in the 4th. It's a check lift down to first by Dangler, now home with the 0-1. Breaking pitch, misses the zone, 1-1. Dangler out of the box and now going to set right back in. Be up and away again, ball 2. Andrew Gabriel waiting on deck here for the Dragons as the Dragons yet to make any changes in the field from their original 10 they ran out tonight. Different than any of their 3 games prior. Counts 3-1. Darren Dangler going to set himself back behind the plate here. Dangler ramping up his senior year at South Courtright. Going to graduate here in a couple of weeks. It's a 3-1 sent up behind home. And they'll just get out of the ballpark as the count will move full. So Dangler hoping with a payoff pitch he can get a strike here. Set back up, working from the stretch. Little Litzy down to first. Hoping he can catch off guard. Out in the box, bat flip away. And that's back-to-back Watts here to start the sixth. So first and second here for Glens Falls. Still nobody out. Dangler, another long look down to second, home with a pitch, went curve, out towards third. Bateman lays the tag on for the first out of the inning. So it'll still be first and second, but now there's an out. Cat sent back down to the dugout. Gabriel reaching on the fielder's choice. So it's Merowitz at second, Gabriel at first, in the 10th spot in the order, and Christian Moe here in this bottom of the sixth. Dangler, a little look out to second and King. Right up the middle, hops off the mound. Play it short, turned by Connolly to second, not going to be in time to first to get the out over there, but they catch the runner there at second. So Merowitz able to get over to third. But they catch Gabriel, sits 4. Connolly, a nice flip to King for out number 2. And once again, another fielder's choice, Christian Moe, as it's first and third here with 2 outs. First pitch in for strike 1 as we're back at the top of the order to Meyer. Dangler hoping he can get out of this jam here after giving up 2 straight Watts to start the inning. The unassisted put out by Bateman, as Bateman certainly showing some good leather here for the Outlaws over the first 2 games, solidifying his place at the hot corner. It's 2-1. Meyer 1 for 3 in the ball game thus far. Had a single in the second and flyouts in the first and fifth. Big swing, can't connect, stolen base. Christian Moe able to dive in successfully. So 2-2 with 2 outs. And runners second and third. So 2 in scoring position here for Glens Falls, as they've been scoreless here the last couple innings. Breaking pitch won't get the zone, as it'll be 3-2. Dangler hoping he can locate one right back over the plate here. Get out of the sixth. Swing and a miss. Yes, indeed. Dangler gets himself out of the jam. We go to the 7th here in Glens Falls. The Dragons strand 2 on base. It's a 14-5 game in favor of your Outlaws. Welcome back here to Eastfield and Glens Falls, top of the 7th inning. And on the hill for the Dragons, Michael Weed, who just finished his freshman year at the College of St. Rose. The Dragons certainly using their bullpen for everything it's worth tonight. Is this one going to miss the zone, ball 1? So the Outlaws hanging around and putting up a stellar night here at the plate. As that'll be strike 1, 1-1. So the mercy run rule in the PGCBL, 10 or more after 7, as I just confirmed that. So the Outlaws hoping they can add at least one more here and hold Glens Falls scoreless in the bottom of the 7th. Get out of this one, as there's a good start. Leadoff base runner on with Glossa getting drilled by the pitch. Jacoby Dale going to now step to the plate. Dale, 2 for 3 and a walk in this ball game. Left foot set back in the box, is that one up and away, ball 1. Another elevator shot. Is Weed over the feet, ball 2 on this one. It's Glossa down there at first, always a threat to run, has 3 stolen bases in this game already for the Outlaws. Check play back to first, but Gloss is in safely. 11-6 are the hits in favor of Oneonta, which just goes to show in terms of the run output how crazy things have been tonight with the walks, wild pitches, steals, and whatnot. A couple of hit by pitches as well by both pitching staffs. 2-1 now the count. Weed called strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Glossa on at first. Outlaws back in action for the next 2 days at home, taking on Watertown tomorrow at 7, who started 2-1, and the Boonville Lumberjacks going to come in on Wednesday, both 7 o'clock starts. Gloss on the run, Dale 2-2, going to be too far in foul ground and right. So pitch number 6 coming up here to Jacoby Dale. Is the 2-2, smoked on out towards short. Diving play couldn't be made by Mode. Into left field it goes. So it'll be first and second here as Glossa upstanding down at second. Would have been a hard play off the bat for Mo. Started the game at short, came in a pitch, moved back to short after he got yanked out. So first and second indeed it's going to be. And still nobody out here in this top of the 7th inning. Outlaws hoping they could cash in. Connor waiting at the plate. We'll settle in here as Waiting going to send it out towards second. Both base runners trying to advance. Dale back towards first, going to get away. Rolls away, out of play. Runs charging around as Dale helps out for the 15-5 lead now. Glossa comes all the way in on the ball fired out of play. Dale forced out at second, 6-4. Waiting, going to be on with the fielder's choice here. So 1 down and a runner at first here for the Outlaws. It'll about sail out of play. Matt Carrera, 1-0. So the Outlaws' lead is indeed now 10. It'll come up and away, ball 2. Lutzy down to first, 2-0 count. Swing and a miss. As Carrera going to fall behind 2-1 with that one. This one will miss off the plate, 3-1. Outlaws hoping they can finish things off here. Got to have Glens Falls come to the plate and go scoreless in the bottom of the inning. Counts full. It's the Outlaws defenders to the plate. Once again, coming up in full force here. Finally added that out on the board. So the count's full with one down. Another long look to first. Fouled off the end of the bat. Staying alive. It's still 3-2. So Carrera settled up in the box here. 3-2 with one down. Called strike 3. So the strike zone continues to be all over the plate here tonight in Glens Falls. As there's 2 down with 1 on. Brody Raleigh will settle into the box here for the Outlaws with 2 down. He takes strike 1. Brody Raleigh, that 3-run bomb for the Outlaws in the first, intentionally walked his last time up. Also has a sack RBI in this game, as this one will skip away from our catcher behind the plate in Merowitz. 1-1 now, the count. Dancing off of first base down there, Connor waiting. Up high on the infield, charging in from first. Morano mates the snarl in the glove. And the Outlaws get that run to make it a 10-run advantage. Bottom of the 7th inning coming up here in Glens Falls. The Outlaws have a 15-5 lead, and with 3 more outs, this ball game would be over. Evan Staroba, we hope you got 3 outs in you. The Outlaws going to try it out. Evan Staroba, who finished off the game on the mound on Friday night against Socrates, just had to go 2 1/3, picked up 2 strikeouts, and now out here after a couple of days off, back on the hill, and needs a big inning. 15-5 our score with 3 outs and a scoreless Glens Falls inning. This ball game would be over. Going to be no easy task because the Dragons going to have 2, 3, 4 up in the order. This long ball game would finally come to a close if the Outlaws can wrap things up here. As we started 20 minutes late, about 7:20. We're getting close to the 3-hour mark, and we haven't even finished the 7 innings yet. And obviously, with all the watch we've had tonight, could be an even longer ball game if we keep on going. So we hope Staroba's got it in him to finish here now. As the Outlaws hoping after being mercy the other night, they can be on the other side of the mercy rule here in the PGCBL tonight after that first pitch called strike to Cato Kleinman. 1 for 3 in the ball game thus far. Is the count going to move to 1-1 here on the first hitter of the inning? Just finished his sophomore year at Herkimer for the squad. Kicks and fires the 1-1. Called strike. So Staroba, 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. 1-2, low and away, ball 2. Staroba looking home, comes set with the 2-2, working from the first base side. Smoked in the air out towards right center, charging over, Dale's got it. So Jacoby Dale makes the play on that one. There is 1 down here in the 7th inning in Glens Falls. James Ward now going to step on up 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch in this game. Working from the stretch. Smoked on the ground towards short. Going to roll by out into center field. And so a hit for James Ward, his first as a drag-in. Griffin will step up. 1 for 1 with a pair of walks. Staroba going to ask for a new baseball. Standing at first, Ward a couple of steps off. Staroba with this one, huge swing, couldn't connect, was Griffith. Staroba trying to work ahead in these counts so then he can get a little fancy with what he throws. Staroba home with the 0-2, clips the zone 0-2. Ward staying close to the bat down there at first, trying to play conservative here. Is with the 0-2, in tight, ball 1. One ball and 2 strikes. Staroba looking for a punch out. Quick look down to first. Light's doing some funky things in left center. The Outlaws thought they had that one, and they do. We don't even get a strike 3 call from our home plate umpire, but sent down nonetheless is Jack Griffin looking, and there are 2 outs here at East Field. Runner at first is Ward. Trey Morano going to set himself up in the box. Oneonta 1 out away from win 1 here in 2024. Staroba with this one, huge swing, and no connection from Morano. 0-1, 15-5 score. Glens Falls with a runner at first here in the bottom of the 7th. Staroba from the stretch on the 0-1, swing and a miss again, 0-2. Staroba probably going to go fastball once more. Trying to end this game right here. Ward down at first, couple of step lead off the bag. The kick, the 0-2, swing and a miss, and the Outlaws move to 1-1 here in 2024. Staroba gets him swinging on a fastball, and Trey Morano down here to end this game as the Outlaws victorious tonight by a 15-5 score here on the road. Absolutely stellar night, all things considered, for this Outlaw squad. Really came together and got the job done here on the road. As we're going to step aside and take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up here quickly on our YouTube broadcast to get ready to get back on the bus. 15-5, the Outlaws victors here tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to about wrap things up here for us on our YouTube feed tonight. As you see, our beautiful final score graphic on your screen, 15-5, the Outlaws victorious over the Dragons tonight here at Eastfield. Brody Raleigh picks up 4 RBIs in his first start as an Oneonta Outlaw, and he is certainly going to demand some playing time moving forward. Jaden Ross gets his first RBI here in his second straight game as well. Connolly, another big night, and the Outlaws' bats were just firing. Inning out and inning up as every guy in the batting order for Oneonta reached base at least once tonight, which is something that we'll talk heavily about on our pregame show tomorrow. 15-5, the Outlaws, after being on the wrong side of the mercy rule Friday night, losing 11-0 to Saugerties. Answer bat 15-5 on the road here tonight to Glens Falls. We'll be right back to it tomorrow night at home. We'll be live here with our pregame show, 6:45 on YouTube. First pitch, 7 o'clock against the East Division rival Rapids. Glens Falls going to turn around, head on the road for their first road trip tomorrow, going to Saugerties for a 7:05 start, which you can watch that live on Saugerties YouTube page. But for now, we're going to step aside here on our Outlaws channel. 15-5, Oneonta moves to 1-1 on the season, and Glens Falls now 0-4 after tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at 6:45 back at Damaski.